This is Naoki Yoshida,
This is Fern Hall.
and you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go!
I had to cut Rook off. We were doing our behind-the-scenes chat. Hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio, Gamer Escapes Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FFXIV. Joining me today, we've got Zen, we've got Aldino, and we've got Rook.
I will not be silenced.
Yeah, that's right.
It was great because I like we're talking really quick, and then I'm like, oh no, we really gotta go, and so we go to the scene, and Rook's just like for like 2 seconds.
The end of the sentence would have been inappropriate for the start.
Wow. All right.
Of this podcast, so it would have. You know, it's good. It's good.
Oh, volume really low.
Volume is really low.
Volume really low.
Oh no.
How? We just did a test.
We just
Yeah.
did a test. Oh,
We
no.
do love
Had a talk
Sure.
about
Is
Is it
one-
us or is
is-
it you?
Is it yeah? Is
Oh.
it you? Is it one person? Let us know.
Can everybody else hear us?
Especially Fusion.
Fusion.
Fusion, did you hit a button that
Yeah,
mutes
I did.
you but lets all of us talk? It's very nice
No.
of you, but
No, I don't.
Fusion's
think so.
Fusion's always the loudest.
Mhm.
Like every other week, I'm
know.
like, turn your mic down, bro.
Is this better?
is anybody else having balance issues? Masiga says volume is the same as before the intro.
Okay.
Oh, weird.
that-
Okay, so now I'm probably louder.
Enjoy.
Can't win.
It's a no-win audio situation.
Put it like
Yeah.
halfway between.
Sounds good. A little bit. Okay.
Okay. I think
Okay.
we're probably good.
So we're
I think
good.
we're probably good.
We're
Yeah.
good. I think we're good.
If you want to turn everybody up, that's fine. Normally, behind the scenes,
I mean,
normally
I
when I edit it,
can.
I have to turn everybody up. But then
I can
Fusion
turn
is
us
like,
up.
wait the fuck up here.
Yeah. That high pitch.
And I sound like I just just
Yeah.
brought in some helium too. I'm just like, I'm all the way up here.
It was an
So
uncanny impression,
Okay,
Zen.
so we'll
Like,
tweak that a little
incredible.
bit. I'll turn me back down just a smidge, and hopefully
Okay.
we're okay. And
Right.
if not, audition.
You'll get my frowny
filters
faces in the middle of
will-
editing tomorrow.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Fusion.
Hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio.
Take
Hold
two.
on, I need you to do that in the chipmunk voice.
In the chipmunk. Hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio. Gamer Escapes Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Have you checked me today? We've got Sinatra, we've got Osno, and we got Rook.
I'm so happy right now.
That's the best intro we've ever done in our entire lives.
Wow. All right.
You don't even need to say it anymore. Just clip it and play it at the beginning.
Is my normal voice that bad? Wow, that
No.
was the best it's ever been. Thanks.
No,
Yes,
no, it's like good voice and then amazing voice.
I'm
like
Fusion
this
X. I'm
is
having
your
self-esteem issues today, and today we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Yep,
Uh,
yep.
There's no
can't even
voice
think it now.
mod. That was just me.
Mhm.
That was just
That
me.
was just pure you.
Yeah.
You should be a voice actor, Fusion.
like a G Scoob. All right.
Wow.
Wow.
What else you got in there?
This is the show. This is the show. Just
Yeah.
nonsense. Welcome
That's exactly what's happening.
to whatever the
Welcome.
hell this is.
The Ramblecast.
So this is how Fusion is a Lalafell. Today, how this is gonna work. Usually, when we do a show, we're like, "All right, what are we gonna talk about?" And if we don't know, we say, "Oh, do you know we're doing D&D?"
Yeah.
This past couple weeks, though, we do that, and then Aldino goes, "No," because he's been busy with work, which is, it happens, right?
100% fair.
So this week we're gonna do something
just wanna die a
fantastic
little, it's
where
fine.
we
Oh.
really haven't done. I have a couple tabs open of things to bring up, but we don't have an outline. We have no idea what's gonna happen. So
The first
for
time
those
in
of
the
you,
history.
Yeah.
for those of you in chat, if there's something you want to hear us talk about, you can just
Or talk about
do the,
with us.
do the type in
Yeah.
in the chat, and you can let us know, and we'll probably talk about it because we don't know what else we're gonna talk about after these first little bits of news and stuff that we got. So first up for news here,
News.
we've got.
You told me we didn't have an outline.
We don't have an outline. I just have tabs. Totally
Okay.
different.
All right.
Totally
I'm gonna take
different.
Please
take
A
us
go.
on a
horizontal
tab.
outline.
Right, horizontal tab-based outline.
I mean, yeah, vertical bullet points. No. We're going horizontal outlines
Mhm.
today.
Dramatic.
So, they have announced the Glamoured to Life Digital Fan Fest event. It's like cosplay, but it's also like can be casual if you want. Whatever, doesn't matter. Dress up as one of your favorite NPCs, one of your favorite monsters, whatever. You need to get these pictures in by April 16th. They'll be shown, during the Digital Fan Fest event that's coming up. All of the qualified entries have a chance to get either a Mandragora choker or an Aramon choker. So if that's something you want, I think what I'm gonna do, again, no outline, no preparation at all. I'm just gonna do this and like grab a mop. And that's it. I'm Estinian. Done. That's my entry.
Brilliant.
We're good to go.
I just had the realization that if I was doing like a closet cosplay, because I love that they're including this in this event. I do think that's great to be like, hey, you don't have to be a professional cosplayer. It is a pandemic. If you are in your house and you got a bathrobe that kind of looks like one of the, outfits in the game, just throw it on and do it. But as I sit here thinking about what I could do, I immediately went, oh my gosh, I could do like every white-haired character. I could do like Isail.
Every Scion.
Every
Scion.
I could like tie my hair back in like a little ratty ponytail, be Thancred.
Oh, I know what I could do. Watch it. Check this out. Ready? I'm a Rothgar.
Oh my god. Okay.
Get it?
Okay.
Because they can't wear hats and stuff.
I actually have.
Sorry, I knew we said we were gonna try and not talk about that. It was too easy. It came too
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah.
I apologize.
But back in the day when I made the Tataru costume, I think I got lazy when I got to the tunic part. So rather than having her actual tunic, when I got to Vegas, I bought a pink Vegas shirt and I was vacation Tataru.
I mean,
I have the
anybody-
hat correct slightly with the big feather.
if anybody
I have the
deserves a
wig,
vacation,
I have the right pants. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Tataru
I don't think
deserves
there's any other NPC that deserves a vacation more than Tataru.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
She works so
So
hard.
maybe I'll throw that on.
Yeah.
It'd be a good time. Masiga suggests a pitchfork. Like if you just have a pitchfork laying around your apartment.
Oh yeah,
maybe
no,
that
totally.
would be a
That's
weapon,
totally
like-
something we would normally have up here in the Pacific Northwest. Just everybody gets a when you move out here, you get a pitchfork.
Yeah,
it's like a thing.
Do you have a shower rod? You could take the shower rod out
that's true.
and then hold that. That could also be
I mean,
something.
I
Make
have
a
several
sandwich.
brooms and a mop. I think that those work fine. I
Make
could
a
Photoshop
sandwich,
like
put it in a nice basket, hold it up. Who are you?
Crystal Exar.
Tataru.
Yeah.
If you put on your dragoon hat and then you lay on the floor,
Oh.
There you go.
Hey,
done.
Perfect.
hey,
Done.
wow,
Uh,
savage.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely
people who
savage.
actually want to make real costumes, though, not that that's not a real
Yeah.
costume, but
Yeah.
like want to put some detail into this costume. First of all, I don't know why you would, because those prizes are not
Wow.
worth the amount of money that you spend on a costume. Holy crap! But you can
I
order
think it's
material
more of a-
online
Yeah. You can,
from like
yeah.
Joann's and stuff. They have
Oh,
it
totally.
online.
I think it's just
They
meant to be
also-
like an easy to enter, fun thing, easy to
Mhm.
win kind of, we're in a pandemic, have something,
Hey, but if you're
So-
making
Fair enough.
that big, hard to do costume, then maybe, just post the in progress as a casual. You know what I mean? Like just the helmet on or something
Yeah.
like that.
You could.
Yeah, you
Actually-
can do anything.
Yeah.
I have a picture on my Twitter of I was screwing around with makeup.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not really Gaia's makeup, but I ended up throwing on a wig that looks vaguely like Gaia and made a face like I'm a bratty teenager. So
all you
done
need.
with that too, I guess.
That's it.
This is a question for each of you.
Mhm.
If you were like, you could do it, you could go completely like you'd have somebody who'd craft the whole costume for you, or like you'd suddenly have the skills so you could make it as cool as you wanted. If you could cosplay anyone or anything in Final Fantasy XIV, what would you cosplay?
I think machinist AF because I would be more likely to be invited to birthday parties.
Hmm.
Because if I have the full spiky dragoon thing, any balloons like they're gone if I walk by
Yeah.
them. Like those little.
Sure.
Oh my
they're
God.
gonna all-
Fusion, I like that you went there because my thought was that when you said that, you were saying that the machinist artifact gear made you look like a clown.
I once almost
the
lost
hell?
an eye to someone's
Almost lost
costume.
an eye.
to someone's
What?
costume in one of those, in like a dealer's room at a anime convention. You know, sometimes they have the bookstores that are like built vertically and they're kind of really close in together when you're walking around. Someone was Legato from Trigun, and they had like the spikes on the shoulder, and it was right at eye height because I'm short. And like I walk in and I'm like, what is? And I move and it like hits my glasses. Like, what the heck was? Oh, it's made out of metal. You have metal screws on the side of your shoulders. What
See,
is
and
wrong
that's
with
what
you?
I'm trying to avoid.
Exactly.
Fusion.
So thank you, Fusion.
You know firsthand now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah. No, I like it. That's not to say that the machinist artifact gear makes you look like a clown. It was just that that's
yeah.
the joke I thought you were setting
yeah.
up with
Okay,
the birthday
yeah.
party.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I don't believe that for a second.
Aymeric is definitely who I would. Yep.
Ooh, you'd make it
100%.
good, Emmerich. That'd be fun.
Alright.
Think you have
Aymeric,
like
Urianger, those are the two.
Yeah. So I'm like, Tsuyu? What's her regular name?
Yotsuyu.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like it's a nickname.
Yeah. Or Dancer AF,
Okay.
but maybe not that.
I do real quick though. I want to go back to the idea of Urianger. If you do that, I have a request.
Sure.
You need to set your pants on fire.
Okay.
No.
I don't think he's wearing pants in the astrologian gear, but
Yeah.
Make pants and set them
Okay.
ablaze.
yeah, sure.
Okay, all
I will
right.
make sure to only
Alright.
lie in the costume, just forever.
I do see
Only life.
Insomniac in the chat saying Hracefelger. Yes! Oh my gosh, I would
Sure,
love
yeah.
to do some kind of like
Wow.
humanoid dragon.
I'm
It'd be so
Immediately
good.
thinking of the like I don't, they were like professional cosplayers at the first fan fest, like 2014.
Like the Garuda.
The Garuda.
Yeah.
With the crazy ass like stiletto heels that like almost needed help
Yeah.
walking out on stage.
Yeah.
Like that, but Hracefelger.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That'd be so good.
would be
I would
crazy.
totally do like I would do M and F and then like wear one day and then the other day.
That'd be really cool.
There you
If
go.
I was
Well,
super bold, I would do Sophia, but also you got
Yeah.
unless you're wearing a
Yeah.
bodysuit, you like naked, you like butt naked. You're nude. So,
you'd fit
Just
right
very
in
good.
Vegas.
Yeah.
right.
What
Yeah,
was
I think
what was the name of the dragon that they ate the eyes of in Heaven's Word?
Nidhogg? No,
Ratatoskr.
Ratatoskr.
Ratatoskr. Yeah, that, and then have like little like eye cookies that you hand out.
That would
Anybody
be
hungry?
brutal, Fusion. I mean, it would be really cool to see like a first brood cosplay.
Right.
A group of people did each of the different like Ratatoskr and all of the first
Mhm.
brood of Midgardstormer. That would be super cool. I'm still holding out to see the ones that we haven't seen yet. And
You know, if you want to talk about like a day 1 and day 2 costume, right? I know this is like completely not what this contest is about, but like
Yeah.
do like a dragoon, do like an Estinian, and then just like that night, just like dump some tomato
yourself.
sauce on it or something.
Oh my god.
Oh, you smell terrible. Yeah, I'm covered in dragon blood.
Yeah.
carry around the empty can with you, but just like put a picture of a dragon on it. Like that'd be so good.
Do you guys
Dragon
know what
juice.
Pokemon Gijinka is?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of that one.
All right, so it's basically people take Pokemon and make like Lolita outfits out of their
Yeah,
like
graphic
the,
Lolita.
the Japanese fashion Lolita, right? So they make
Okay.
Lolita outfits that look like Pokemon-ish, right? So as soon as you were like, I'd like to see a first brood, I was like, as Lolita.
Yeah.
I'd
Some
like
of
to
those are
see
great.
a Lolita Xenos costume.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Or
I can just
or you know what we
imagine
can
the
do
giant hoop skirt.
if we want to be creative. We could do like a 2-person cosplay. One of us could be Matt and one of us could be Soken.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
just like piggyback, right? Because that's the thing
God.
that they always do. I don't know if I could be the Matt role. I
Yeah.
have a bad back. I don't know if I could.
Some group of friends out there needs to be most of them. Like we need a Koji, we need a Soken, we need a
Oh my gosh.
Foxconn, we need Yoshi P. Someone needs to do the whole group. Please.
That's actually good for this contest, I feel. Get
That
like
would be
500 rings,
hilarious.
you're Yoshi P.
Yes, you're Yoshi P. That would be so
Somebody
good.
Somebody go do that.
I'm so
Just
excited.
completely
about this
shave my
now.
head. Look at me, I'm Koji. Grab like a mic stand.
No, you got to do his Saints and Sinners or Scions and Sinners Ultima. Him in the big robe. yelling
Get
into the
just
microphone.
get the construction hat with the balloon for the Moogle palm, like when he does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do just get like a hoodie, like a black hoodie with like happens to have a really big hood, and get some construction paper and make yourself an Asian mask. That's
Yeah,
You could
exactly.
totally do that. That
Yeah,
would
there you go. Yeah.
We're just giving you guys ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
generating them. Masega says I'd like to have a fat chocobo outfit. That would
Oh,
be
yeah.
amazing. One. Two, you could have a friend go around with you with a fishing rod that had a cake on it. And then that'd be so
that's
cute.
another one of those great 2-person. There was a really great Fat Chocobo cosplay at the Frankfurt Fan Fest years ago. And it I think it either
It won something.
yeah. And then when they went to like talk to the person, they had to like stick the mic in the beak to be able to
Yeah.
hear
That's so good.
them.
I've
So
always
yeah, that's
Oh, I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say I've always wanted to do the white mage artifact gear too, particularly for
sure.
Heaven Lord,
Okay.
because I am like a sucker for those the like classic white mage, like the full robes with the like hood,
Sure.
like it's just so good.
Oh,
It's
original
very
Bard AF. I would like that as
Mm.
well.
Yep.
Mm.
The
Original
like really
summoner for me.
flowy one. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that is the Glamour to Life contest. Again, you have until April 16th. 7:59 a.m. Pacific if you really want to just get down to the wire with your submission.
How many times can you enter? How many of these things can we actually do?
I think
one
just
entry?
once.
Yeah.
Oh, boo.
But they did say, you could buy the costume. It can be something from your house. It can be something you made. If you're an actual like cosplay artisan, you can, so it's really flexible. It just seems like they want people just to, get hyped and do something fun and take a picture and share it online.
Yeah.
Like that seems to be the main
I would
thing.
imagine that a lot of, because was there a limit on who wins or how many winners? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not
How is
seeing it.
Denitra's rain costume coming along? Just throw that out.
Well, I think last I saw it. So that's
Yeah.
She and I were
I
gonna
just- I
make
think
Reen and
Mopter
Gaia.
is what I'm gonna. Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. All right, so that's that. Also, this week we've got the official artwork for patch 5.5 Death Unto Dawn, and the launch of the special site, which is like super bare bones right now. It's just a
I thought it
bullet
was broken when I pulled it up.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, me too. I clicked
It's
on
so
it and I was
weird,
like,
right?
oh, there's nothing,
Like-
literally nothing here. Why did they announce
It's a list.
it?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently it
So
went
the-
up and then came back down and then went back up. So maybe there was a little bit of an issue there.
Who knows? But yeah, it's basically it's Heidelin, and there's some flames, and then it's just like all of the nation leaders around it. I'm not crazy about it. Personally,
I've heard a bunch of people are actually like adding their Warrior of Light's face to the circle,
Okay.
which I think is like a cute little meme thing.
Yeah.
I've seen some fan art like that, and I was like, oh, I love this. This is so good. I mean, otherwise it is, and probably because they didn't want to give things away, is my guess. It's pretty, bare bones in that, we just have the leaders of the different nations kind of gathered around what appears to be like a globe of. We can
I think
assume
if they wanted to sell this a little bit more, they should have made, because like obviously like this is like the final days is gonna happen, right? Like the flames and stuff. They should have made it a little more obvious to look like that kind of ARR meteor icon with the flames. That I think would have helped a lot. But otherwise, yeah, it's just like people looking in different directions, and it really doesn't. I don't know. Compared to like some of the other artwork we've had, it's it's heads. Like I
could see
I
that.
actually, I kind of like it, but it's mostly because it's like, hey, remember you're on the source now. You're not on the first anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
And it's not that I like I dislike it, but I think it's probably one of like my least favorite patch artworks. It's just
the other ones are usually more dynamic. It's like,
oh yeah, way
you got
more
the,
involved.
the big head in the background and maybe like one or two people in the foreground being super dramatic, and this one's just like, and these are your leaders. Remember those guys?
I mean, I do like at least from the standpoint that having all of these characters that have been major players that we've taken this journey with, and that, I mean, rightfully so, are part of this larger, interconnected political and, military struggle, right? I think it makes sense in the context of the patches. It's nice to see the leaders up there and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, does it give us a whole lot? Does just the image alone make me go like, oh my gosh? No, the title itself does. The title makes me go like,
So
like,
since everybody everybody thought this. We got to talk about it. It's a Ramblecast. Who's gonna die?
Urianger.
Right?
Shut up.
That's
He's
why
not even in the
he wasn't
picture.
available to be painted for the
Yeah.
picture because he's dead
Oh,
after he set his
I mean,
pants on
that's
fire.
solid.
It didn't
Fusion,
work
you're
out well.
hurting
He
my
didn't-
feelings.
Solid logic, though.
All right, I don't care.
It's true.
Whatever.
You don't care
Wow.
that you're hurting my feelings?
If it came down to which character would hurt me the least,
Uh-huh.
it'd probably be Lise.
I'm
If it-
with
yeah.
you. 100%.
Sorry, girl.
Yeah.
I don't endorse the just off the charts, like completely unfounded hatred of Lise.
Right.
I just don't care about her character that much. I don't think she's that well written. If someone has to die, even I like Alphino more than Lise. So
Mhm.
I would just I'd let her go first.
The way
If it
you
comes
say
down
that.
to if it comes down to who I'd want to see die, or sorry, who I'd want to see die the least, like who
Mhm.
would hurt me the most, it would probably be Grahatia or Alice.
Mhm.
Oh, all right, so here, let's go around. We'll pick top 2 we want to save, top 2 we want to kill.
Okay.
Rook,
This is
we'll
dangerously
start with you
close
here.
to it.
Oh, jeez.
Mary fuck kill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, it is Ramblecast. This is the joy
I mean,
of
we
Right.
could do that.
yeah,
could do
yeah.
that. We could segue
You
into
know what?
that.
Let's do it. MFK.
Oh
Let's go.
no! I
Yep,
know
this
my
is a thing.
answers, though.
It's happening now.
Oh, no.
Rook the one. No, but I know already.
But I know who it would be. Yes, I would marry
Shit.
Grahatia because come on, that boy would make you sandwiches every day. He'd go on adventures with you. He'd support you,
And
and he would love you.
I do like a good sandwich.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
it's like, look, I'm just saying, he would be a perfect spouse, just
Mhm.
brilliant and wonderful and amazing.
Mhm.
When it comes to who I'd fuck, it'd be Emmett Silk, hands down.
No. This
He's
has
not
to be
even-
people that are currently alive. They have to be
You
current
cannot
players.
say that. You cannot.
No, it
say
has
that.
to. It has to be.
As I look over at my Emmett Silk fan merch shelf, they have to be alive.
I thought this was like,
The whole point was like who we want to stay alive or who we want to die.
from the next.
So if we're gonna make that,
Yeah.
There's two. Okay, Fusion. We've merged two different ideas here.
Yes, we have.
Because
It's
if we're
true.
talking,
Mhm.
talking 2 people to save, 2 people to kill, that's different.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
we're
Okay.
talking, MFK, the
Okay.
the game
Okay.
Yeah.
that all teenagers play, then that's
Yeah.
a totally different thing. It's something
you know what?
totally unrelated.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay. Okay.
Which one are we doing? Because I can do either one.
Both.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's what's happening now.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Ramblecast.
Ramblecast.
Yeah, whatever.
2 that I would want to save would
Uh-huh.
be, as I said, Grahatia and Alice, because I love
Yeah.
them and they're amazing.
Yeah.
Ones that I would kill. Lise, oh, girl, I'm so sorry, girl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I feel real bad. So I apologize
That's
about
fair.
everything.
That's
I
fair.
mean,
As for the other, I don't know. It's kind of tough. I'm so tired of Xenos. I just don't want to
Yeah.
see his dumb face anymore.
Right, I
be
know. But
honest. Like, that's not to say that I don't think he, again, doesn't have things to his character that are interesting. But, like, the 2 characters that I'm probably just the least enthusiastic about right now are those 2.
Mhm.
So that's maybe where I stand on that. And if it comes
Yeah.
down to MFK, I'm going to stand by what I said.
Yeah.
I'm going to marry Grahatia.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it on with that old crusty man,
Yeah.
Emmett Silk. And then, who am I going to kill? Well, I guess I already said the other 2. So those
Yeah.
2 still stand.
Yeah.
Those
Well,
2
that's
still stand.
Okay.
Okay. I figured it out.
Uh
Marry Raubon.
huh.
Okay.
Fuck Thancred. Kill Asahi.
Oh, yeah.
Fandaniel.
Yeah, Fan Daniel.
Right.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
did
But
Oh,
also,
it's
but
yeah.
because he looks like Asahi.
Yeah.
Right.
Chat did put Milkman in the running for this, which
Oh.
I had completely
Ooh.
forgotten
Mhm.
about. He would be my kill. Yeah. Asahi's a good one, though, Zen.
Yeah.
Nova
Good
said,
combination.
Zen clearly not going the road less traveled with Thancred. Listen, there's something to say for people with experience.
Yep.
Putting that
I
out
mean,
there.
look, he's not embarrassed about his body. He spent
Yeah.
a lot of Heaven's Word walking around naked.
Mhm.
He's
Which means
great
I
with
know what it
nature.
looks
He
like,
made
too.
friends with a little with a squirrel.
Mhm.
is that something we use to measure like sexual attraction at this point? Like, how many squirrels have you befriended like a Disney princess? 10?
Well naked.
Okay. While naked.
While
Great.
naked.
I'd love to get
That
it on
changes
with
the
you.
number. That just changes the number for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean, the obvious ones are Asahi and Xeno, so I want them dead.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Shoo, shoo, shoo,
Yeah.
shoo,
Sure.
shoo, shoo, shoo.
Sure.
Who do I want to save Urianger and Thancred.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Solid.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know what? I like Urianger. Yes, he's a big fat liar,
Mhm.
but he's been there from the beginning. He was like the harbinger of the other scions showing up. Yes, he speaks real dumb sometimes.
Sure.
But it's charming. It's charming.
I stand by that. It is charming. Urianger has the attraction energy of like a really nerdy DM who is super in love with both Shakespeare and high fantasy as a genre.
Yeah.
And like
I'm into
that is
it.
an energy that is strong and powerful, and I just stand by that. You know,
I would
didn't pick him
agree
for Mary.
if we
'Cause
still
he's a
had
big
Gideon
liar.
Emery.
You don't want to
If
marry
we
a
still
liar.
had Gideon Emery Urianger, I would agree.
Oh well, yeah.
Um,
I mean, there's no contest if it's getting Emery. Come on. You gonna go next?
I'll
Ethan?
do no. Or you want me to go next?
Sure. Either way.
Okay. All right. I want Alice to live.
Yeah.
I want Nanamo to live.
Okay.
Aw.
She's been through a
That makes
lot, right? She
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
oh yeah.
She's a sweet little cinnamon bun.
I want Xenos to die. I am so over him. I would not be opposed to Urianger going if we had to lose someone.
I get it.
I just, oh, I'm sorry we lied to you. I won't do that again. Is he gone? Yeah, so I think Gaia's the Oracle of Darkness. Don't tell him.
It's not a lie. You just didn't tell us.
No. Go away.
Omission.
Go away. I don't
He's
know.
mysterious. He has a mysterious facade he has to maintain.
It's not
Elfman-
his fault that Square Enix is using him to give us plot points without telling our character.
He hides
Elfman
all
can't
his
even
secrets.
swim. I like people that can swim.
Wow.
He hides all his secrets underneath his skirts. So
Yeah.
it's part of his class.
It's not that he can't swim. He was just trying to be cool and walk on water and
Mhm.
couldn't cast.
Just couldn't do it that long.
Mm,
Alphino
okay.
can't swim.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm. Okay.
Obvious.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez. Okay. MFK. This is hard. This is a hard
know.
one.
That's why I thought of it first. Concentrate on
Yeah,
that.
you were smart. You were smart.
There's a lot of characters too. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even sure I'm completely satisfied with my choice of Raubon.
There are options. Yeah, I'm gonna based on who we still have available
Yeah.
here. Kill Milkman.
Okay.
But like in the most
Strong choice,
glorious, epic combat ever, because
Okay.
he deserves one of those just like amazing deaths, right?
Drown
Not
him
like
in chocolate.
I'm in a robot and I pushed a button and now I'm like, "Urgh."
Is that
Like,
no-
no. Give us a
Death
really
by
solid.
chocolate milk.
No, we can't drown him in chocolate milk. He'd be way too into it. We
Is
have to do
this
something
soy?
different.
What is this?
Oh, there you
Kill
go.
him with almond milk. Death by almond
Yeah.
milk. Is that a?
It's soysin.
Yeah.
Soy poison.
Terrible.
Oh boy, I thought you were.
Terrible.
I thought maybe you
Yeah.
were making a really terrible pun on like Soken, but with soy.
Soy poison.
I got you.
Wow.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, kill Milkman. I think if I had to pick somebody to hang out with a little bit, Yushtola.
Hang out with.
Hang out with.
Hang out to Netflix
Yeah.
and chill with Fusion.
Yeah, Netflix and chill with Yushtola.
Yeah.
Fusion,
of course.
if I managed to say
Fuck.
the F fuck. If I managed
That's
to
true.
say it without
That is
giggling,
true. That is something that
Yeah.
you rarely hear out of Rook's mouth. Yeah, no, I totally bang Yushtola.
Okay. There you go.
And now that I just came out and said it, that was too much for her. She's gone. We
Yeah.
broke her. All right.
She wasn't expecting just the blatant. Oh yeah, I totally bang.
Oh yeah. If I had to pick, Mary. That is the hard one, isn't it?
Because you can't marry Alizé because that's bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, it gets weird there, right? Because of the age thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cryle.
I mean,
Cryle would be a strong, solid wife. You know that.
Okay,
I mean, it's tough because I feel like there's 1,000 other categories I could add into this, like subcategory. Like, who do
Oh,
I want
God.
to step on me?
yeah,
Murphy.
you know.
Who do I want to, like,
Yeah.
you know? Who would I want to be, like, who would I want to date and, you know, see all the time and make, like, sassy commentary about other people with? Ishola. Like, I would totally date and make sassy commentary about people with Ishola all the time.
Oh yeah.
Power couple.
Astro in the chat says Master Matoya.
Yeah.
I think that was back to the Y'shtola bit, but like, oh yeah, no, I'd totally marry Matoya, like actual, but no. That's a real hard one. I can't.
Mhm.
What about Merlin?
Can't choose.
I mean, Merlin is a
Merlin.
strong. She would
Yeah,
take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I guess. All of
Maybe.
you.
Think beyond the main cast. Think like
Yeah.
important
I'm
side characters.
I'm trying.
What
to.
about the
Hildebrand.
goldsmith girl?
Hildebrand?
Hildebrand.
No,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
as
She was a
fun as that
minor
would be,
skill
I
No,
am
no.
considering female characters for this.
Mhm. That's
What about the Gladiators Guild lady?
She's strong.
I
enough.
don't I don't even remember her, to be perfectly honest.
Her name is
Legit.
Isla.
I don't take.
Who else we
What do
got?
you-
Who
what
else
do
we
you want
got?
from me?
This-
I love how serious this has gotten.
I mean, this is
Right?
really important that we find a prospective Final Fantasy wife for Fusion. So let's see who we've got here. Oh,
This is what
Lina.
happens when we don't
Lina.
have an outline. Who?
Lina.
Oh,
Lina
Lina.
from-
Lina.
Lina.
yeah.
Lina. I always call her
Lina.
Lina.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lina's good.
Mhm.
But
Kane
but if
Senna.
we went out somewhere and we wanted to be
Ooh,
fancy, she couldn't wear
Hilda.
hats.
Oh my god.
Okay, Fusion.
Oh my
Sorry,
god.
it was
Alright.
cheap. I don't apologize.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you
Okay.
don't.
You know, I
Livia's
Uh-huh.
sister.
I forget.
oh
Oh.
Charlie and Ishgard lady.
we
We
always forget her name.
and I feel so
Yep.
bad. I feel
wanna
so
say-
bad every
Lucia?
time.
Is that
Lucia.
Lucia.
Yeah.
You know,
Hilda's
I
a good one in
think
chat. Hilda's
Mhm.
pretty solid.
Hilda's
Hilda's
good.
Shadow
Hilda
Keeper.
is the one shadow keeper.
Yeah.
Look,
Someone's just picking my brain
it's
already.
it's
That's
a
fine.
wife and a
Alright.
pet.
I would hook up with Shadow.
Anyway,
I'm not gonna lie.
You know,
Go Shadow.
I think Connie Senna would be a
Mhm.
good
Mhm.
wife. Yeah.
Mhm.
I doubt it.
I finally have a thought, and Zidane just immediately like, I don't
We don't
know.
have to agree.
This is
That's
true.
how
Yeah.
people find
That's
different
true.
matches.
Yeah,
because
and
people prefer different
you know,
kinds.
I'm not perfectly satisfied with that answer, right? We
Mhm.
mentioned this
Mhm.
earlier. These aren't yeah, but I know Connie Senna's all right.
I actually have to agree with Zen on this, which I'm surprised by. While Kane Senna is beautiful and poised, I get the sense that she's selfish for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Wow.
I just get this
okay.
vibe like she would be a very selfish partner.
I'm wondering why you're surprised that you agree with me.
Well, because when you just think about Kane Senna, it should be the complete package, right? I've never
Mhm.
actually thought about this, which is surprising to me because I've thought about smooching most of the characters in Final Fantasy XIV. But somehow Kane Senna has not made this list. And I don't know why. But as I think about it now, for some reason, I just get this feeling.
To be fair, I still have that artwork over on my other monitor, so that's kind of influencing me a little bit here.
To me, I just look at her and I'm like, ah, Prudesville.
Wow. I mean, look.
I see why we have an outline usually. I really do.
Let's my choice.
But I love
Let's do Ali say in 10 years. Can that be an
Okay.
option?
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
slightly
yeah.
less creepy.
That's
fine.
solid. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's good. Yeah. That's fine.
You
Okay,
weren't
I'll
even
do
like in 2 years when she's technically, we're like 10 years. 10
Yeah,
years.
We're
make
the
that
warrior of
fine,
light.
fine.
We don't even age.
I
anyway. Like, 10
forgot
years
how
old
old she
should
was.
be
I
a
wanted
big
to be
deal.
safe. I don't want to be that creepo,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
let's.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll do
Aldi.
know it's your turn now.
Yeah, I guess.
You've had plenty of time to think about this after I
You know, this
stalled
is
for
true.
you.
Thank you so much for that. But yeah, 2 to save, 2 to kill. To save, I'm saying Kryl. Number one.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to say Totaro because I don't think she's in any danger, really. But Kryl is going to be out there looking.
Those
up
are
for
the
her,
ones
you know
they
what I mean?
get.
I know, right? I'm going to say Kryl.
Zen is like, how dare you even acknowledge that possibility?
Right, exactly. I'm just saying she's the
She's
MVP.
She's
with
already been in
Totaro.
trouble once, okay?
Exactly. We don't want to see it again. We do not want to see it again. Someone to kill off? Yeah, it's Lise. I'm sorry. Like, her story is mostly done to me, especially if Garlemald's
Yeah.
going to be destroyed by the time
And
we
you know,
get there.
because Lise has come up a few times, I
Yeah.
do want to say, okay, like if that's the direction they want to go,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
don't have it be from that random guy that she saw charging at her a mile away at the end of that last cutscene.
Right. Exactly.
Not that guy. Don't
Not
have
that
that be the death. That's lame. Give us
Gotta be
something
way
good.
cooler than that. I want
Right.
something good for her, but of the characters that are around, she can kind of go. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Just saying. Another one to save. I'm gonna go with my dude Raban. Like, because to me, Alamigo could have one or the other, right? I don't
Fair.
know that they need both. So
No,
I'm
that's
just
totally
on
fair.
Raban's side. That's just it.
Yeah.
I'd like
Same.
to see him. He's been working for it. I know she's been working for it as well.
Thanks for
But it's
saving my
just-
husband.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. I'm glad I could help. So last person to get rid of? Man, that's tough because I don't want anyone else to go. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna have to go with, and it's weird because I just don't care about him. I don't care about Gridania. I'm sorry. Kane Senna. I'm okay with that. I'm okay if she had to go. Of the leaders, she's the only one that I could see going. Period. I
Okay.
mean, maybe that's because I especially haven't had a lot of interaction with her.
That's
I
fair.
played 1.0 for a little while, but not a lot.
Sure.
I didn't go to Gridania. I'm not, whatever. She can go. It's fine. She's got a younger brother who could take over, I think, right? Yeah, totally. It's fine.
Charles
Astro
thinks
in
she
chat,
killed
kill
you.
Urianger.
Yeah.
Hey, and Nanamo, how dare you?
Wow. That is like,
Wow. How
perfect.
dare.
Yeah.
Perfect
right
for
No.
slap in
how-
between.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the good part. Fuck, marry, kill.
The
So
good
I'm gonna go
part.
backwards.
The
Yeah, the
good
good part.
Wow.
I gotta agree with most of you. We gotta kill Xeno. Xeno has got to go, and I know we will. So it's kind of like low hanging fruit, right?
I felt cheap
I get
saying Venus.
Yeah,
Or
I know.
Aetheryte.
So that's they're probably gonna die. Probably. If it had to be anyone out of that, I don't even know. Like I don't hate anyone in the story enough. to
Xenos
want
lives
them
and
to
he
go.
just joins a light party with like Hori Boulder and
Yeah. Oh,
that's the
punishment is
plot
to
twist
be in the
nobody
company
saw
of heroes
coming.
forever.
That guy in the MSQ, that early on in the MSQ that tries to enslave that lady because she's in debt. That
Mhm.
guy, kill that guy.
I mean, there's Milkman, but I kind of like him, and I would love if he was still kicking around with the Garleans, into
I
the
mean,
next
yeah,
expansion.
that's
I
a
would
fair
love that.
point.
Oh yeah,
Like,
kill Lolorito. Kill
Of course.
Dorito.
Everyone
yeah.
forgets that he's even still
I
alive.
would love to be able to save Milkman if we can keep him around for something like super crazy.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Super
and,
great.
and we've said this a million times already. He's such a good villain. I love hating that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like
absolutely.
he's just gonna die because he pushes a get angrier button in a robot.
Yeah.
That's, he deserves
That
it.
is
He
not
deserves
fun.
like a crazy death. Like,
Not fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna have to Netflix and chill, aka fuck Hilda. 100%. Are you kidding me?
I like that Aldino's like, are you all idiots?
Yeah, like
Are
what?
you just big dumb
Come on.
It's like, it's obviously Hilda.
Come on. Obviously, and then I'm just gonna marry the Shadowkeeper. That's just me. That's just how I am. Like not in that form, obviously.
I was gonna say we need to clarify here.
Yeah, not in that form, obviously. It's more Silva, but still, yeah. There you go. 100%.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
She's driven. She's complicated, right?
Complicated.
Yeah, mysterious. Very capable. Incredibly capable. So yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah, that's
And if
solid.
somebody pisses you off, she can eat them.
Exactly. I don't have to worry about anything ever again.
And if it's, if you're having a sad day or just like a bad day,
Mhm.
she can just turn into a giant, like multi-faced wolf, and then you just pet her a little bit, and
Yep.
that'll, comforting and chill.
Probably get
Fine.
drink discounts in the Crystarium.
Absolutely. Exactly. Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is more and more looking like the real answer to who you would marry. Like for all of us, as I'm considering everything that's on the table
I
here.
mean, you think about it, she knows what we've gone through, right? As the
Mhm.
Warrior of Light. She really feels that. She's failed before. She's rooting for us. And she could hop over and help us literally anytime. Anytime she wanted to.
Yeah.
Probably. Most likely.
That's fair.
In theory.
If Isael was still alive, this would be very hard for me on the Mary.
That's exactly true.
Mm.
As I contemplate all the beautiful wives we've lost.
Moonbrita.
Moonbrita as well would it be a real
Yotsuyu, I don't think came up anywhere. Did with the four of us?
No.
Did it? It came
No,
up.
I
Just to step on me, yeah.
Yeah.
Step
You know
up.
who I
You can step
forgot?
up.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Stinian. I might have to
Oh.
get fan cred out.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
You did forget about Tomato Man. You can roll around on like you're in a pasta.
No,
Just get-
Is this where we make the super lewd comment about how good he is with thrusting? Is this where we?
you can get that full thrust.
I would love for someone to watch a lore cast and then to watch this one immediately right afterwards. I think it's just it's just the dichotomy.
These
of the
guys
show.
look really professional. What the fuck?
Last episode, we're like, yeah, the void and stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, I'd totally bang Y'shtola. Yeah. Welcome to Aetheryte Radio.
I'm respectfully letting everyone know who
Yes.
I would I almost said
Who I would have relations with.
who I would have intercourse with, and then I realized that felt more awkward to me.
Yep.
Wow,
That's
yeah.
where we are.
Chat,
Wow.
I'm loving seeing what everybody else is putting in here.
Oh yes.
There's a lot of good things. Save Hildebrand is important, and I do think
Yes.
that is something that needs to be given.
He's got to
I
come back.
I can't imagine a world in which they would kill Hildebrand, like
Oh,
murder Hildebrand. But that
I
would be
mean-
devastating.
Nova over here. Too
Mhm.
bad Ada's dead. She's the real wife material.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
she.
totally.
Oh,
she
Edda.
crazy, but,
Edda.
but yeah, but when
Yeah,
you
Edda.
die, she's like, "Oh, my love, I'll bring you.
I'll bring you
from the
back as a
dead."
horrific floating head with wings.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I would like to conversely examine a different side of
Mhm.
being Edda's partner, which would be I would love to be in a relationship with Edda so that I could, teach her what a healthy relationship was and be a supportive and loving partner and
Mhm.
not the abusive piece of garbage, human
Yeah.
garbage that her
Yeah.
fiance was. So
Yeah.
that's, if I could aggressively love and support and build her up after her
Exactly.
having experienced such a bad thing, yeah, no, I'd be super into that. I'd be down for that. Yeah.
That
Can we
guy's
get a
stuck.
Meryl Wib, Y'shtola, and Yotsuyu thing going? Wow.
Can you?
Also, can I
Yotsuyu will step on you, Meryl will punch you in the face, and then Y'shtola will heal you back so they can do it again.
Oh, it's the scene
I-
from
I
7.
think-
You know, I'll crush them, I'll smash them, I'll rip them off. It's those three. Yeah.
Yes. If I were to be in, so if we add another category to this, so we've got Step On Me, which is an added
Oh my
category,
gosh.
and then we add another one, which is to be in a loving, consensual, polyamorous relationship together. Yeah, Merle V. Stola and Yotsuyu, all of
Oh,
us
sure.
together would be the powerful, crush all our foes
Mhm.
wife team, and I'd be totally okay with that. If
Mhm.
Fran got put in there as well, even better, because she's technically a 14, so so I can.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
The best part about all of this is we aren't even finished with like the few bits of news that we actually knew we would talk about. We just are like, hey, this artwork. Also, who would you?
This is a Ramblecast fusion.
This is
You have to
beautiful.
commit to the
This is
ramble. and I'm
beautiful. This
loving
is
it.
amazing.
I think I accidentally
don't we
just
do this more often?
blocked the term intercourse in chat.
You did, and I saw
I think
that.
I accidentally did also. Yeah, just right.
Oh,
and
no,
and
I
we
thought
gotta.
I thought I said allow, so I was like, how'd I do
Oh.
that?
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
I
you.
hit decline because I meant to decline the comment. We do need to keep things age appropriate here, everybody. Just remember
Somewhat.
that some characters
Somewhat.
aren't of age.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
yes.
Don't
Character.
That-
don't be
certainly
don't be that person. That's why I said Ali say in 10 years. That's we gotta really just
Forecast.
yeah.
That is
Okay.
But I did notice that Sweet actually had a question for us
Yeah.
a little
Yes.
ways back, which was question from
Let's.
Sweetly.
Can we get to
Should we
that in
do
like
the-
2
yeah.
seconds?
Oh yeah, go
Or-
for it.
2
Finish
seconds.
the-
I hold up
the
one
quote-unquote
finger.
news.
Letter from the producer live part. Oh Lord, I don't even know what number these are anymore. LXIII.
69.
Is it really?
No.
No, that's nobody. It's like a 13. 53?
It's like
63?
Yeah, it's like
Somewhere it's
63.
in the 60s. That's why I
Yeah.
picked 69.
It's 63 if it's LXII.
Okay, I can't remember. April 2nd. So that's going to be our next live letter for patch 5.5. So next week, we don't know what we'll talk about, but the week after that, we're going to be talking about the live letter. So come back in 2 weeks for that. That'll be part 2 of 5.5. So maybe we get the trailer.
I'd guess so, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Please look forward to it. Okay, back to Sweet's question.
Yes.
It was I remember seeing this because I'm like, that's good, we can use that later. It was what do you want to see out of Endwalker that they haven't announced? I think, right? Was the gist of it. Okay. Oh, that's a good question.
Xeno's death.
Xeno's death. Well, I mean, I guess, like, is this just, from the overall 5.0 or 6.0 experience, or is this just like things that we know will get announced prior, right? Like, announcement wise, but
I think it would be everything, yeah.
Yeah, anything.
I want to see those.
You know what? This is something I know we said no housing, but it's just a small thing. I'm sorry. This is something I thought of the other day when I was gonna move some stuff around in a house that somebody had already been messing with. I would like it if you could save a state for the house, like where all the furniture is, so that like you move all the stuff around. You go, oh, I hate this, and then you just set it back to the state, so you don't have to move everything back.
That's beautiful, but I feel like that would be one of those, like, it would have to store locally because they wouldn't want to keep that data server side because it's a lot of data.
I feel like it's not.
But if they do keep that type of data locally, somebody just needs to make a thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, that would be awesome, but also
Right.
Square Enix might not be terribly crazy about that. So,
I hesitate to talk about like how you could implement that sort of thing, but honestly, it's like 9 numbers. They did everything right. Technically, it's just a position in space, rotation,
X, Y rotation.
Yeah, that's really, and then what item it was, and then they would have to rebuild it.
And then I guess if it's
right, it could just totally break.
If things are mounted to it, you'd like the mount or sit on button or whatever it is. Yeah,
exactly. There'd be some state changes and stuff like that.
But
so
that data times like a bajillion characters, it starts to add up a little bit. So I could understand, because that's always one of the things that Yoshida talks about, and especially with when data when World Visit came up, and now we're gonna get data center. Duties, all this information is moving around. Obviously, that wouldn't be data that transferred over, but it would still take 2 seconds for the 2 seconds, right? For the game to be like, okay, this is the data that we're taking over with us into the duty, or onto this other world. We're not taking this. There would probably have to be some kind of like acknowledgement, right, on that end, theoretically. But it would be nice. I think it would be so cool to make things easier for people that want to decorate houses. And it's this week I've been seeing so many like really cool house like decorations and stuff that people have been doing. And it just bums me out because I'm still trying to get a bigger house, and I never will. Like, I've actually been, like, when I log in now, one of the first things I do is I go around to all 4 cities to see if there's any, like, medium or large plots available. And there never are. And there's maybe 2 small on the entire server. And it's just, like, continuously depressing.
Yeah. I mean, even having something like those templates or, like, saved states, like you were saying, even that would be nice, because it would feel like you could get more versatility out of something like your small house, right? Because maybe you want it set up a certain way, but then you want to redecorate it for something else, or like an RP event or something like that. I mean, even that would help. I mean, obviously, I think everybody is hoping that we do get some kind of address about housing on a larger scale with the new expansion. But I actually really like your thought on that, Zen. It's something unique that I haven't heard before. That would be like a different facet to that.
I would love that, especially right now with just how finicky it can be to like get things set up a certain way. You look at things like I think of like crazy decorated houses. I think of the stuff that the that Azure Lounge does, or that Sly's always streaming with. Like, they have done some crazy stuff.
Really awesome.
And to be able to do like multiple save states to like change it up a little bit, like that would be so cool. And
I didn't even think of it as...
imagine how long it takes to set something like that up from scratch. Like, oh my god, it would take days.
Yeah. You know, it would be, you know, the most complicated things would be trying to get it to snap back to the way that you had it, though, because, you know, people float things. You're like,
you finally float it to where you want it, but it's like 3 pixels off, and you're just like,
Yeah.
And when you restore it, it probably wouldn't go back to that way because it wouldn't.
That's
place it
you know
inside
that's a
another
fair
thing.
point too. It would shift a little bit, or it wouldn't wouldn't float, or
It'd be hard.
That would be a great
part would be
opportunity to, I don't know, make it so that when doing housing, you can free place objects in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14,
Yep.
which is
imagine,
a great feature.
imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Not have to glitch things to make
Mhm.
them go to places where they should just go.
Okay, so anyway, that was my thing. Next
Yoshida,
thing.
Yoshida, this is a fantasy game. Can we just like get what are the things that like you make the bed and the chair mount with that just makes them float? Can we just like get some of those, and you can just whatever you want to do with furniture, just stick some of these little floaty bits, and you're good. You're good to go.
Go talk to Matoya. Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
figure that out.
Matoya,
So
you got sentient brooms that give quests. I just want a bookshelf to float.
Oh, actually,
See?
I want to throw this.
Uh-huh.
I want to throw this into the housing thing because I do think this would be kind of a fun facet in a different way. Met says I want housing PvP. Now, Met does clarify that if you've got a house, I can challenge you, and if I win, I take your stuff, which I think is a fun idea.
No.
But I would actually think that something like an in-house PvP arena would be kind of fun, or
Sure.
like a dueling match, or like
Well, I
dueling.
mean, people have set up some of their yards to do the Blue Mage knock of Lalafell around game. Whatever I forget what they called it.
Yeah, but if there was
there-
something that allowed you to
Yeah.
PvP within the confines of
Yeah.
Astro brings up an interesting point. Is there like a Better Homes and Gardens competition in game already for best home? And if not, why not?
There was.
They have done house decorating stuff in the past, but I also think, and I can't remember like the finalists off the top of my head what it looked like, but my guess is that they would probably frown on stuff that floats and uses glitches and right.
No.
No, didn't they? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I wasn't sure. That feels like something that they might do, but I wasn't
Yeah,
100%.
They definitely could, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah. I guess if we're going to take it a totally different direction, I've talked about all the stuff, you know, that I'm hoping for as far as VR, Hrothgar customization, all those things. So something that is totally just, I think, in a different direction is that I really would love to see with the new expansion some kind of new open world content, something that makes the maps more interesting or dynamic. You know, we've mentioned before in like Guild Wars 2, there are these meta maps that have some sort of like, you know, big momentum of chain of events with world bosses and like all sorts of rewards that you get along the way and achievement sets that go with it. Something like that, or something that was just kind of, gosh, even like Antiquarian and Elder Scrolls Online has been really fun, which is kind of, you know, you have this mini game and these skill trees that you sort of level up, and you go around and uncover these cool kind of relics on different maps and like search through maps to find different leads, and then you play these mini games like when you get there to uncover them, and then you get lore tidbits from like the guild that does it, which is so neat. I just like to see something in 14 with the new expansion and moving forward that is some kind of new open world content that really does make the maps feel interesting, that like builds on the action or momentum or lore of a map, and that gives you something like worthwhile to do while you're actually, you know, on a map, and kind of keeps the maps running. Even, I mean, like hunts and things like that and Fate sort of do, but even, and not as much as even in other MMOs where I've seen some of these things that work really well.
I think it would be cool, especially for Endwalker, with, you know, thinking about that idea. I'm going to dig back into the interview archives here. Remember that one time they talked about free company primals? And that you could summon it out in the field and it would change the weather in an area. That, but with those kind of weird dynamic of it, like ignore the free company stuff, like whatever. But like the idea of like, oh shit, like Ifrit's up in Thanolin somewhere and the sky turns like red and fiery, and as you know, probably in the context of 14, right, in the system context, it would be like a special Fate or a hunt NM type of situation realistically, right? But something like that in the older areas, that'd be cool.
I think there's a possibility of that with the towers, right? Because they are creating, as far as we can guess, like nightmares. So yeah.
Well,
Thanolin would be Ifrit or something.
Well, so you got to be careful, because I think if you're talking about the towers and the nightmare stuff, you're looking at weird things that are like from the Amarat dungeon.
Yeah.
But I think what you could do with Endwalker, if you know, finally addressed the primal explosion, then you can make it about primals.
I mean, yes, that's true.
Yeah, and it could even be almost like critical engagement. I think Boja has like introduced some really good new mechanics and like map things that I think still give people away. Like you're running across a map and then something pops up while you're on it and it says, you know, hey, this important fight has started or something, or you can go over there, you can watch other people trying to do it. I think that would be really fun. And even like the 1v1 system has given people some aspirational stuff to do on the maps in Boja. So I think they could do stuff like that on actual maps that we have in the
and you know,
itself.
we talked about this a little bit when we talked about like Eureka and Baldessian Arsenal, that idea of having like a open dungeon kind of attributed to each zone or whatever. I like the idea. Yeah, I do like that idea of like a critical engagement thing. You know, have some fates pop or whatever, and if you know are in those or whatever, you can enter, you know, primal critical engagement or something like that. Like I think that would be a good use of that system. Whether or not they do it or not, you know, who knows. But final days, I mean, we saw, you know, in the trailer, right? Who knows if this will be represented in game in any way, but like who knows, it was on fire. So maybe we know they have the tech now to, you know, completely change the skybox if they want to. So
yeah, that
would be cool. I'd love to see that. My top of the list of like things I want to see is Hildebrand.
I mean, of course,
and I really would be really interested to see them do a little bit of a lore dive on it, just because of how, like, we've seen Hildebrand in 5.0 because his spirit or whatever was like grabbed up by Elidibus and brought over, right? And I would love to see the effects of that, if there are any, right? If it's not just like, we're just going to copy paste your soul and throw it over here, and real Hildebrand's fine, but there's like a part of him or so, like, if that's it, fine, sure. But I think like, if depending on how, you know, they want to explain that, and if they want to do a deep dive into that could be fascinating. But also, I miss Hildebrand. Like, they really, the way they ended it was like so perfect for Shadowbringers. Like, oh, he went into the void with Greg. So unless he shows up in like Final Fantasy 16, which would also be like freaking hysterical and amazing, and I'd love it. He needs to come back. We at least need closure. If you want to come out and say, okay, we're not going to do him anymore, but here's like the last bit of it, give us some closure to the series. Okay, I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but give us,
was
you know,
Hildebrand the star? It's the final chapter of the
Oh
star.
my gosh.
They meant Hildebrand, not Heidelin.
The star of the game, the star of the show. We figured it out.
The moon just explodes, and instead of like a dragon or Zodiac, it's just like Hildebrand.
I'm so sorry I even said this. I'm sorry.
No, it's amazing.
That's amazing.
I do
No, you're not.
I do have a ramble off of that connected to it that I'm curious to ask all of you about. So in one of the interviews recently that was shared around and translated to English, there was discussion about what had happened with Hildebrand and why he wasn't in this new expansion. And in that discussion, Yoshida-san said, we felt like the content and everything that was going on with Hildebrand was really stale, and that we needed to step back and re-examine and then figure out how we could do something new with Hildebrand down the road. I'm curious to hear if all of you think that, was it stale? Do you think there's anything that they could do to make Hildebrand better, more engaging? Like, it's funny to me because I personally never felt, loved it. I thought it was fun. I liked that it was just a community side quest, but the trials and stuff, people don't often run them, and they're kind of optional unlocks, and there's not a ton that comes, and you get emotes and stuff. So I don't know. I was just curious to hear what all of you thought.
I think in terms of like stale, I think when they say that, my thought is that it's in just the overall kind of crazy presentation of it. Like, it's just always like super out there and outrageous, and maybe that's what they're referencing, because as far as like the actual story, like it's always funny, it's always stupid and ridiculous, and that's what makes it great, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely weird because in ARR you did have the trials that linked up to it, which, you know, at one point was kind of a problem for people looking to unlock roulettes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think they could do it and not tie a trial to it, and I think it'd be fine. Or they could have a trial tied to it, but not make it a requirement for. I don't know, like, because that's the problem. Whenever you make a trial, you need to make sure that there's a reason for people to go back and do it. And like, you get like minions from the, you get like an Ultros minion or the
you don't
Enkidu minion, but like you're one and done. I am still baffled that they haven't had a Gilgamesh fight with parody weapons as a reward. Like, give me, give paladins like an Excalibur. Like, how has that not happened yet? It's just, it's mind blowing to me. Bring that back. Do another Gilgamesh fight. Have that as rewards.
We've never seen any of the new kind of storytelling, tools that they've used in the main story in Hildebrand. We've never role played. We've never had a single person instance, not very often. Like, so they have more tools in the toolbox to make it more interesting now. So, like, I could see them easily figuring out something cooler to do with them. Like, some little instances, use the trust system, let them fight with us. Like,
oh my god. Easy. Final Hildebrand quest, unlock him as a trust. Hell, that would be really cool. Yeah.
That would actually be really
and then get Nasha too, and she just throws bombs at people. Yeah.
I mean, that would be amazing. And he would have like some kind of special abilities and things that he could do. That would be such a blast.
Even if they don't fully add him as a trust, just use that system for his AI and like a single person instance. You know what I mean? So
could you imagine like the battle team that takes care of trust AI for all the dungeons? Sorry, you want to add what now?
Exactly.
Great. Let's just program AI for Hildebrand in every single dungeon.
What job is Hildebrand?
Inspector, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
That's actually the new melee job.
Yeah, there you go, Inspector.
That would be awesome.
People with like a magnifying glass. Just
you inspect
or burns them. He just holds it there for like an hour.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Now, what if they make that the next limited job? How would you feel, Fusion?
Inspector?
Yeah.
But you get lore.
I mean, there could be some pretty cool lore things that they do. Like I envision that, right? As like again going back to like random ass Matoya Broom quests where like it's like, this is a quest. We're not going to tell you what to do. Just a bunch of that, and that's the job.
Well, let me spin off of that. If they're looking at new ways to completely like revitalize what Hildebrand does, taking that inspector element would be so fun. They could do something that was almost like a series, I don't know, where we're doing like solving mysteries now, right? So like you go to a place and there's like a case desk, and then you have to like take different cases, and that's like your quest chains.
Yeah, get rid of guild leaves. Let's have inspector cases.
Yeah, we don't need...
like or let's just stumble upon it. You're just chilling, you're in Ul'dah. Hey, there's a dead body with a knife in it. We should look into this.
Yes, I think that would be super fun. And then you could have these different cases that you could try to solve.
It'll never happen. It would be amazing, but this will never happen.
Ways to like fail them. Like you'd have to like actually figure out what was happening in them, and then you could unlock rewards, or at the end you could get like the trust or something. I think that would be really exciting to me, and to give me a reason to go again to maps and different things and like talk to NPCs and get more lore and learn. I think that'd be super fun.
They could easily roll that together.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there anything else that we wanted to see that hasn't been announced for Endwalker?
We gotta do something about abilities again, probably.
Most likely, yeah.
That seems like a thing. Get some more buttons, right? They haven't said anything about battle system at all, and that's really honestly what I'm waiting for. To be quite honest, but yeah, what the heck are we gonna get? Like that's the biggest.
I mean, I guess like what kind of scale are we talking about? Are we talking about small scale, like holy crap scale? I think if we're going holy crap scale, they're gonna take that combo system that they got for PvP, and so like instead of like 3 actions, you just really need the one, and it'll just
hate it. Don't want that. Really don't want that at all.
No, and I know a lot of people wouldn't, but at the same time, you're it's weird because with each expansion you're adding new abilities, and there's hotbar.
See how ugly I can make my face.
I mean, I think that works for some abilities, right? That are like they directly build off of each other, or things like that. I don't think that it's a bad idea. especially the ones that are like proc chains or stuff like that,
Yeah.
I could see them just condensing them into the actual interface buttons to sort of like, if it's a direct proc chain or something and it just automatically does that, like that would be fine. But there are some classes, I mean, when I think of like Black Mage, for example, where the different fires you're using at different points, they do make a difference, but at the same time, do I think it's super confusing that they just have 1,000 fires and you have to try and remember which one is the most efficient at whatever level? Yeah, like it's super annoying.
Right.
But there's definitely still reasons that you might use different ones at different times as opposed to it being a direct chain evolution, right? So I don't know if I'd like to see all classes get their abilities just smushed into proc buttons like in PvP, but are there some that I'm sure various procs could be more condensed in something like that? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Red Mage, it's like half of your abilities just change. They just change anyway. It's like, okay,
that's always the funnest part of doing something like a media tour.
Yeah,
because you have to like set up the hotbar, right? Like obviously, like you change to a job and it just spits out the abilities, and then you're like, all right, this isn't where I want things to be, and so you're like, all right, well, we'll put this over here. And why did that change? Did I drag the wrong?
Yeah.
What? Oh, it upgrades into that. Okay.
Yeah. I think they have to be careful with that, because the more you add of that, the less it is the less straightforward it is to understand your rotation, right? Because you're like, okay, and then this one. Okay, but this changes into that? Because it doesn't say it on the one that you put on the bar. It says it on the one that it changes to, that it becomes this, right? So it's like,
it's a little messy. Yeah.
A little messy. There's a lot of things to clean up. I have no idea what they're going to address, and who knows with the split of the healers and all of that. So I want more information on all of that. That's what I want. You know me.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And I love seeing like the mega ability, I mean, granted,
capstone,
like coming into Stormblood, a lot of the classes were kind of underwhelming with that ability. But when we got Shadowbringers, I was like, these are all the things I wanted forever. Like, I remember seeing, the Rook Queen. I remember seeing the wings for White Mage. Like, all of these different things where I was just going, yes.
I was so happy with that robot. I was so
happy.
So
fun.
And that was one of those things too where like, because we talked about it before that. It's like, what job do we think could have like the crazy one? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like Machinias could be pretty nuts. And we're watching it, all of a sudden, just robot. I'm like, robot. So, it was good.
So
I was excited.
I'm gonna back up a step. The freaking dancer ability, where you're just dancing in place, trying to keep everybody close to you, so you get a spree. I want that circle to be bigger. Right now, it's small, and just about every time I go to use it, I have to say, "Hey, everybody, could you please move closer to me?" Or like I'll start to use it, and someone will run outside, and then I'm sitting in like 39 Esprit, and I'm like, guys.
Thanks for that.
Charles can tell you, I probably whine about it too much. I'm just
as a person that played Dragoon after they introduced that tether thing and getting into dungeons with like range, I understand.
Okay, but imagine that on 7 other people.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
You have to have all 7 in the circle.
Yeah.
I always called the tether my child safety leash. And I just always imagined that children that manage to break free of it and run through the mall are just my like trouble co-DPS that are just like small irresponsible children running away from me.
Because White Mage Circle used to be smaller, right?
Yeah.
And they made that bigger.
Yeah.
So they could make the little dancey circle bigger.
There's hope.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna get into specific things that I want to be changed. No way.
Here's the question. If you could have any mega ability, any capstone for your main class coming up in this next X-Pack, what would you envision it as? What do you want?
For me, I have the answer that I think that's gonna happen is an Alexander or Demi Alexander or something like that. That would make sense. Maybe, I guess. I don't want that in any way, shape, or form. Man, I would love more of an evoker style ability where you more Final Fantasy 16. We saw them evoke Phoenix and Ifrit and have these abilities. I would love to do that more, or more trance type stuff.
What
Because
if,
to me, yeah,
yeah, what if there was like a cool evolution of that where, yeah,
Mhm.
instead of rather than them just like summoning various, like at various
Mhm.
periods, you're like basing your rotation around that. What if there was like an additional new kind of window where, yeah, you could almost evoke them and then
Yeah.
that would give you a different, like
yeah, you
smaller.
were doing the thing.
That'd
Yeah.
be so cool.
That's
It's hard.
definitely
It's hard
my
with
answer.
Machinist right now. I mean, obviously, like I'm torn, right? Because it's like Dragoon, Machinist. Machinist
Yeah.
is the most fun for me to play right now. It's. I mean, we got a robot. Our Limit Break 3 is a giant
Mhm.
laser beam shooting satellite. I don't know what more I would want except just
Mm.
more of all of that.
Right.
Like I don't know what the new big oh my god thing would be.
It would be cool. To me, it would be cool if somehow you take the queen and turn her into like a rifle or something. You know, she's like a transforming, something or other. And then you take one big shot,
That would
That'd
be
be cool.
awesome.
Or
You also have that like sniper ability.
Mhm.
That
oh yeah, there you go. You know what? Make the queen, put a seat on the queen and like let me ride around on it. Right? Give me like a
You wanna be
instead of like wildfire, give me like a mech riding burst window.
Yeah.
Let her turn like an Autobot. Let her turn into
Yeah.
a plane, and then you use that animation from like, oh gosh, is it
Mhm.
Alexander? Whatever, when you jump up on top, you
Yeah.
use something
There you
like that.
go. Yeah.
Can do some kind of special movement or attack or something.
Yeah.
I'm totally with Med in chat. They say they don't like dancer job design. I do, but I wish the buffs worked a little bit differently.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right now the way it works is you have one person you continuously buff as you
Well,
as
I
you-
mean,
as you go.
really,
And
if you
then,
really want to dive into how Dancer works, it's a DPS that is wanting to be a support but can't because it's a DPS.
Mhm.
It's a fundamental flaw, right, with the system, and we've said this before. The fact that there's no specified like support role, so it's just it makes things kind of weird.
Yeah.
That would be
Continue
nice if they added that, but
So the way it works is you're continuously dancing with one person,
Mhm.
and then for your big burst every however long, you buff everybody.
Mhm.
And what I would kind of like, what I've actually wanted with Bard since 1.0, 1.0
Mhm.
Bard, you actually did sort of closer to individual buffs. People actually had to separate though because the
Mhm.
buffs overlapped based on like where you were. But
Yep.
you could be like, okay, casters here, melee DPS here, and you'd run over and be like, here's something that's good for your melee DPS, and you'd run over and be like, here's something that's good for your casters, here's something good for your healers. It doesn't work with the way 14 works now because everybody's all up each other's grundles all the time for various mechanics.
Mhm.
Um, but
that's
I
a
would like,
phrase.
I would love if you could just like put little things, put each little buff on each different person to help them out. That's the
Mhm.
reason I liked Astro originally, because
Yeah.
depending on what card you got, you'd be like, you need this, you need this, and part of the reason that I'm
Yeah.
bummed out that Astro got dumbed down to this kind of damage or this kind of damage is I really prefer the much more support class method.
Yeah, like
You
as
need this
much
right
as
now, here it is.
Yeah.
as
And
much as I love
I miss Mage's Ballad, original
Mhm.
Mage's Ballad.
yeah.
It needs
Yes.
to be
Remember when
refreshed.
Mage's Ballad had something to do with mages?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I miss those things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel you so much, Zen. I feel you so much. I love support because, like we've talked about before, support as a category a lot of times is a type of class that allows players to make decisions in the moment as to how to best benefit a group.
Mhm.
And like Astro originally was the exact same thing for me because yes, balancing the cards was hard. Were all of them really that valuable in play? No, but some of that, was not finessing various things. Some of that is like the nature of the way that our fights are structured in 14. Like there's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of things that play with that. But in theory, the concept is so fun. And especially with a subcategory like physical ranged, where mobility is one of their greatest
Mhm.
assets. Like, why not have some sort of character, especially dancer or some kind of class that like makes use of that mobility cleverly to apply, certain buffs or do certain things as a part of your playstyle. Like, I would love that. That would be my
Mhm.
favorite class, hands down.
Yeah, I mean, as
Right.
much as I just absolutely love the changes to Machinist for
Yeah.
Shadowbringers, there is a little part of me that's like, I wish I could still like pop out a turret and give people MP like when they
Right.
need it.
To me, ranged physical DPS right now is everything's in a great spot, honestly, because
Yeah,
balance
it
is so
is,
close.
yeah.
But the feeling of playing it, if you're not playing Dancer, I don't know why. They are the least played classes that we can tell, right? Because yeah, you're a pure DPS machinist. Why do you do less DPS than the others then? Right? Why is that? This gets on my TED talk that I'm not going to go into about utility and like penalties for having utility. But Machinist is an outlier that like they have no utility because you took it all away, right? Except for there's some stuff like you can help with damage, and things like
Yeah,
that.
you get like Tactician, and that's.
But you
yeah.
don't have any buffs and you can't raise anyone. So
Yeah.
why are you being penalized? That's where it starts getting into I could rant for hours about this, and I'm not going to go there. This is a Ramblecast,
and I
not
think
a
that's one of those
rantcast.
things. The way that they approached it, right? After the initial Dancer's going to be the only support because it's new. After we get rid of that bullshit,
Yeah.
I do like the way that they kind of handled it, right? Where it's like Dancer's like the support. Bard has a little bit of support, and then if like you just want to like mess shit up, here's Machinist. Like here's like the more selfish ranged DPS. And as somebody that plays Machinist, I love that because I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. But there's a little bit of me that because I played old Machinist, right? Back in my day, we had 2 types of turrets, and we could make them do different things. And but I mean, if I still wanted to play a range and do some support, there are those options for me. And all I have to do is level. I don't need to re-gear. You know what I mean? Which is nice. So
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason why it's so hard to find the capstone for? Because you were talking about Machinist, and you're like, I'm not sure, and you were talking about Dancer, and it was like, well, I'd like to change the way it works, not figure out a capstone. Is that why? Is range just kind of in a bad spot?
It's funny because I don't think it like if we're looking at the whole scope of the game,
Mhm.
right? Right now, I think they're probably the most playable across the board that they have been, right? Like,
Definitely.
I mean, there was the Machinist was just kind of sitting sad and alone in the gutter with their
Caster Bard.
robot toys for a while. Caster Bard was having a real rough time. And yet, I think that we're finding, like we've talked about a little bit with Summoner and Scholar, right? Like, a lot of these classes are still totally viable. They still have things that they bring to the table. And I honestly think, for the most part, they play in a really fun manner. I think Machinist is a blast. I think, now that they've kind of retconned on some of the weird gutting of Bard that they did, Bard at least, works and feels sort of like Bard. And then, Dancer, I think, is really fun. I love the procs. I love the fast pace of it, right? But when it comes down to it, we're kind of running into this identity crisis almost, where like as different classes have changed or things have been removed from them, as new ones have come in and all this sort of stuff, it feels like certain basic core ideas for classes are just like conflict with the actual realization of the class. So like, for example, I bring this one up all the time because I think it is so funny to me. It's so weird that this is even a thing. The fact that Scholars fairies are just like aesthetic now, and it's like, hold on, you designed a whole class that's supposed to be a pet class, like a summoning pet class, which in theory, based off of the mechanics and concept and idea of this class, would be about juggling and using these different pets in different situations and controlling them to do something. Because you have multiple, like, why not just remove them? Like, it's so weird to me. And the same thing kind of goes for Astrologian, like we've talked about. Like, is it playable? Yes. But its core original ideas were to be a flex healer that could complement a co-healer, and to have a variety of buffs that were situational that you could choose in the moment by showing off your skill and stuff like that, especially one of these advanced classes, right? To then, like, help your party in certain situations. So we're just getting these weird holes in certain classes. And Bard, I think, is one that really does have an identity crisis because they already smashed something like Ranger into Bard in the first place. So you have the arrow shooties, when traditionally Bard has much more been like a musical buffer, you use the magic of music to buff your party mates,
Right.
But then they decided that because, well, Dancer was going to be the new buffer, so Bard whose entire core design is usually that they play music and buff the party. Now they're not going to be that.
It's interesting because I mean, I remember when they introduced jobs in 1.0, and they're like, yeah, so like the arrow class, it's gonna be bard, and we're taking like the bow and we're making it a harp, and like that is like, that was cool. That was like
super cool.
Whoever
really
came up
awesome.
with that, like GG, because that's such a crazy idea, and I love it. But yeah, I mean, the fact that what does Mage's Ballad even do now? Like I always forget. Nothing involving MP, nothing involving magic. Like, why the F is it called Mage's Ballad?
It's one of the 3 that you cycle through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, isn't it the one that does the instant reset on the
Like, if it has nothing to do
arrows?
with mages, change the name.
Oh,
like, it's so dumb.
Yeah.
I just that will forever just irritate the hell out of me.
Yeah, I think, I think they were going for a gradient or a spectrum of, utility, less utility, no utility.
Well, and the problem was too, like we said earlier, like back in 1.0, it played a little bit more like just a damage dealing bard, but with that 11 kind of spin where, okay, the party group's up over here, you get this song, you get this song, but that doesn't work with the way that the game is designed now.
Mage's Ballad's damage dealt 1%, and it resets your Bloodletter and Reign of Death.
Bloodletter. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Change the name of it.
Pretty sure the yellow one was the crit. I don't remember what the
yellow one.
Yeah. And
I haven't played Bard in 2 years because Dancer was more fun.
That's fair.
But like, if it did a buff that like really, really mattered, you would remember the name. If it was MP, you would remember that it was Mage's Ballad, probably. But now it doesn't do anything important.
I feel like I don't remember half of the names. I just know that what actions are in what order and where they are on my hotbar.
Yeah. I don't remember the names either.
No, but
It just feels like there's just some weird gaps in original, I think, concept and the way that they have changed.
Yeah, it's weird, like, because I mean, obviously, like, the game has changed, right, since Heaven's Word came out, right, since Astro and Machinist were originally, introduced as these ideas of like more advanced classes, and they needed to be changed, and it's a weird kind of dance and balancing game, and I hadn't really thought. I mean, I've been happy with the range stuff, right, but talking about it a little bit, but I think it ultimately, right, again, comes down to there not being a role specific for support, and I think that's the issue that they're striving with. They want to have a range of options, right, and we see this kind of in the DPS as well, right, with again, Samurai. You want to, you can build up your gauge, you can, build up your other things, you can let them sit there all day, it's fine. But if you're Dragoon, you have 30 seconds to do something. It's just, there's different play styles and stuff. I think the benefit, at least, of the range is they all use the same gear. Whereas if you're like, I'm a Dragoon and I want to play Sam because I'm tired of status timers and stuff, cool, there's an entire different set of armor you need to get now.
Yeah, I think the problem that they have, and I think this might be a problem that shows up when they split healers into pure healing and shield healing, is if you suddenly make a new subset of jobs amongst the DPS, it makes it harder to matchmake stuff, and I think that's going to be a weird thing that goes on with the healers as well.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to make a separate class. They just need to like subtly be like, yes, these ones are the ones that do that thing, and you guys know it, so arrange your parties like you do already.
I mean, it's weird, right? Because it's that idea of, if it's a healer and you're going into like a 4-person party, like, regardless of if it's a shield healer or whatever, like, that one healer should be able to carry the party and it should be fine. But then once you get into more complicated, content, and you have 2 healers, what if you have, you get grouped with 2 shield healers? Well, I mean, theoretically, it should be fine. You should be able to do it, but that's not always that mentality that you're going to have, right? You're going to want that pure healer. You're going to want that shield healer. And so it's...
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go
No,
ahead.
that's fine.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there was a mention, and I'm trying to remember exactly what this was with the announcement, that they were even talking a little bit, or they seemed to allude to something that was almost like we are also working on delineating that separation more in like Duty Finder,
Yeah.
which was really interesting to me
Mhm.
to be like, well, we're gonna now maybe if the impression that I got is right, we're gonna
Yeah.
do something where you queue in as a shield healer or a pure healer,
Right.
which it brings. I have so many questions because of
Right.
that. Like,
Yeah.
does this mean that? Yeah, there's going to be something really significant about that. And then when
Yeah.
you get into content where it is 4-man, again, like you were saying, Fusion, you need to have enough heals to be able to still pull people through. So it's
Mhm.
not like they can completely cut shield healers healing down to next to
And
nothing.
it's that same thing when Shadowbringers was coming out. I mean, the second FanFest in, they were still debating on if they wanted to make tanks, that distinction between a main tank and an off tank. Like,
Mhm.
as they were still developing Gunbreaker, they're like,
Yeah.
we don't know what we're doing. But we're
Yeah.
not doing a healer because we need to figure out how it works.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going-
So that's. Go ahead.
No, Aldo, no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's the stuff that I'm thinking of into the next expansion, and I need to know. Give me more information.
Yeah. For me, with White Mage, when we were going
Mhm.
back to the idea of like, what do you want to see be that
Capstone.
capstone, right? Like all of this stuff, you're right. All of that stuff around the other classes, and like you were saying, like capstone for some, I think being not as relevant as a rework, which I think is
Mhm.
totally valid. For me with White Mage, the capstones that I've been maybe wanting are either Mega Holy,
Mhm.
because I'm holy spam White Mage garbage and I love
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
But
that's-
Mega Holy is dope.
So you
and
mean white mage?
I'm a White Mage.
You're the way you should be. Yes.
I'm the way
I would like
should
to
be.
continue to be a white mage.
I'm
Yes.
proudly the way I was made as a white mage,
Yes.
and I'm happy about it. But we have like the mega holy animations and stuff, and they're so
Mhm.
cool with that like rainbow dome. I just love it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I'd be into it. Or something like in the Final Fantasy VII remake, which is almost like Aerith's ability, where she has something that's akin to like black mage ley lines, but
Mhm.
for white magic, which I thought was so cool.
Hmm.
Where it kind of boosts her potencies for various abilities
Mhm.
and things like that if she stands in it. And I'm a little worried that it would be a little too parallel to black magic, but the two are
Sure.
so
Mhm.
tied.
But they are parallel, like like
Different
they're.
sides of the same coin, if you will.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it could be interesting, and I think it could be fun, even if it was something like a buff that went down, right,
Yeah.
for party members, where you could put it down for somebody. Like, I think that would be a fun way to do something with White Mage that we haven't seen before.
Let
Mhm.
them use if you got all the blood lilies or whatever the hell it is, give them like a free instacast raise or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
I
interesting.
don't know how white mage works. I don't healers what? I don't no idea.
Yeah.
Give me cards on Dancer, or give me something
Mhm.
similar to cards, or like Corsair dice, or
They're like, we're gonna
Gambler,
give cards to
some
Dancer.
stuff.
Astrologians are like, you
Yeah.
son
No,
of
but
a-
like you'd have Dancer the regular way. You know,
Mhm.
you're constantly buffing one guy. You sometimes buff everybody, and also
Mhm.
you have maybe like 3 different buffs that come up semi-randomly. You're just like, you, buddy, here you go this time.
Mhm.
In 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds, you this time.
I just love to
You
think
know.
about that from like a lower perspective. You're like, you look like you need a motivation boost. Like, just go
Yeah.
up.
Look into my eyes. Look into
Oh
my
my
eyes while I
God.
break it down. My only concern with that is that, I mean, Dancer already does so much, even just what it has, with what it has.
Mhm.
I feel like if they were going to do something like that, I mean, we'd have to get some sort of expanded, support things that Bard could do.
That's a pretty decent rework.
I
Yeah.
think that Bard should have more too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be
Hell,
surprised
in the case
if
of something like Bard, like especially if they gave Dancer something like that, where it's like just a rain of buffs on people, give Bard back Mage's Ballad or something.
they
Yeah.
have Mage's Ballad though.
Shush, refresh.
We have Mage's Ballad at home.
Oh my gosh. Give them something different. Make
Yeah.
people make
Yeah.
a choice between their support classes.
I
Mhm.
think realistically looking at everything, I think with Shadowbringers, right, the big kind of
Yeah.
like whoa was like they redid Machinist,
Mhm.
and they after that they kind of tweaked tanks and
Yeah, a
enmity
few,
stance
yeah.
and that kind of thing. So I think with 6.0 realistically what we're looking at is maybe one job gets this
Mhm.
kind of like bigger rework,
Exactly.
and then the healers will have this kind of widespread like shields and pure healing tweaks. But yeah, I don't know.
Being realistic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll have to see.
I just want one day for my utility literally not to cost me something unlike everyone else's utility. Just one day. Just
I
make my
believe I'll
utility
do
free.
that.
That's the dream.
Hold on to it.
It's okay.
All right. So I think we were probably exhausted on that topic. I feel like we've drawn that out. Something that we did talk about before the show, I did want to make sure to bring up because I thought this was kind of interesting and also annoying. Square has put up some new 14 merch on the site. You guys know me. I'm a big fan. In case you couldn't tell, I'm a fan of merch. So they've brought over some of the blind box stuff from Japan for the NA store. So they've got the pixel art keychains, as well as the minion miniatures, which are kind of like little like stress ball type of. Well, no, they actually had stress ball type things. These are just like little. I don't know if they're squishy or not. I don't actually have any of these yet.
They're like little plastic figures almost.
Yeah.
They're either plastic or they're little rubber squish. I can't tell from the pictures, but they have these available. And the way that they're doing it, I love you, Square, so much. I do a podcast about your games. This stuff is stupid. Why are you doing this like this? Okay, so
The way that this Gashapon-esque stuff is normally done, though.
well, and let me explain this. So we'll go through the pixel art keychains first, right? So you get a full display box of these blind box keychains. Normally, from every other, even from Square before, I've got the box, the full box of the little charms. You get each one guaranteed in that full box, right? Obviously, if you're picking it out from a store, you don't know what you're going to get. Right. But if you buy the whole box, you will get everything. Not so with these keychains and the minions. So the keychain display box, right? $90. You're like, whoa, that's a lot for keychains. But consider, because there's 18 of them, that's $5 per. That's actually not bad. I think I probably paid like 8 or 9 buying it from where I got it from, right? For just one of these things. So that's not bad. But they do not guarantee that you will get the full set, as they are randomly distributed. So you're paying
what is
90.
The worst one in the set.
The worst one in the set?
Yeah. Could you get 18 of the worst one in the set? I mean, you could, right? It's completely random.
What you just need to do is go in with a couple of friends who are okay with not exactly getting the ones that they want.
Maybe. The fact that though that it's that much money and they can't guarantee you a full set, like that's again.
Especially when they didn't.
I love you. I host a podcast talking about how much I love your games usually, but every so often I have to call out stupid things, and this is one of those stupid things.
I feel like it's a thing that companies normally do, though.
Well,
here the fact that you got one of each in the previous box was rare, I think.
Yeah, it's true, but it's just like
no.
If you do it,
that's how they. That's anytime in Japan where you have these kind of like boxes, right? You buy the box and then you can like fold a flap up. It's like the display box or whatever.
Yeah,
and
those are random.
Not always. Not always.
Okay. Is it random how often they're random? Because in my way too many years of going to anime conventions and buying blind boxes, that's how they work.
Well,
that's the difference.
You're buying
boxes.
it per blind box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking about buying the display box.
I am talking about somebody opens up the display box and nothing has been touched and they're still random inside the display box.
Well, yes, but in that box is the full set. You just don't know which is which.
Well, the delineation here that I'm taking away at least is that with the display set, right? It's like showing one of each of the different, because you're like people walk by and they see the display. Okay. Kind of like how you might get something from a rack, like or like you get a wedding dress that's like a show, like a floor. What am I trying to say? Showroom wedding dress.
Yeah.
idea is that it's been like out and used visually, so like maybe
Mhm.
there's minor wear or tear or things like that or stuff.
So
Right,
it's
but
the
it's like
difference between something that they would send a company to be like,
Yes.
take all of these out of the boxes and put them in display versus
No,
here's
no,
your
the box
random set
they
of junk.
send you is the display. So
That's
apologies
what
for
I'm saying.
people listening on audio. I'm gonna do a little show and tell. Okay, so this is the box of the charms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can, it may not be, yeah, so you can see
Yeah, you
there's
see it.
this kind of cut out fold line. This is what I bought. And so you would like open this up and fold it, and this is what you would find at the store. And you would pick the
Yeah.
boxes out from this. In this, each one of these is different, and it includes in total the full set.
Yeah.
So
It's
for
the
some
difference
reason,
between display and selling. They are getting the bulk to sell at a vendor at an anime convention or whatever. These are display to then buy.
I have just seen the
Yeah.
quote unquote display boxes with like 20 little boxes in them that are random before. So I
Yeah.
assumed
okay,
that was the norm.
Mhm.
yeah,
I think what kind of, at least for me, what feels kind of weird about it is that a lot of times those sorts of things do tend to be more at like a live event or you know, like the excess that's left over at a store
Sure.
or something. I think it's a little bit different for Western audiences when it comes to like ordering something online a lot of times or things like that too, or like being in an official storefront. Just from my experience, like this is again not anything.
Yeah.
Where I think a lot of people do expect, well, you know, if I'm paying a decent amount, $90 isn't like a small laughable, you know.
and that's before shipping from the Square
Oh my
Enix store.
God.
Yeah, that's not
I
wrong.
think
You're,
that,
you're
like,
spending over $100 for these keychains.
I think the
No, I'm
idea
not.
there is that like it can be a little bit odd or dissonant, especially
Sure.
for like a Western audience that's like, oh, well, if I pay $90, I get every job in the game, when it might not actually be that. And so for me, it's funny because it's like, on one hand, you know, whatever. If they say it's random, it's random. And I mean, you take your chance with
Sure.
that, right? But at the same time, I think there is a larger trend, especially with like the Square Enix store, where it has been inaccessible for a lot of people price-wise in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Like
Sure.
a ton of the different statues and figurines and all sorts of things, or the shipping, or the like really limited exclusive ordering things. I think some of that is because you know, we haven't seen until the last few years them really start to branch out more into like expanding their production facilities and things like that outside of just importing everything directly from Japan and all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
And these things definitely are imported. And I think that's also another thing. Like years ago, and I talked about this a little bit before we recorded today. Back for 11, they had a series of like mini Taru figures. That's Lalafell for people that don't play 11. And they had blind boxes for them in Japan. But for NA, they actually repackaged everything, and they had a full set minus like the one like secret bonus one, right? But like they repackaged it, and you could get like the full set, right? NA, no problem. Here, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna sell you a box and whatever. Like I don't know, man.
They're probably skipping the step of curating display boxes. You know what I mean? They're probably
Sure.
just sending straight out the ones that would go to vendors, and those are just random because who cares? They're going to buy them one at a time. I think that's
Yeah.
probably what this is the dichotomy. You know, kind of the whole or the weirdness with names. Like people were talking about the remake of 7. You know, what is a remake? And it's yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a nerd kid,
Yeah.
like I was / am, and you go to these convention thingamabobs, you will often see people who have opened up the boxes,
Yeah,
vendors who have already opened up the boxes, and they're selling things for a little bit more, but you know what you're getting in their
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
display cases. So if you
Mhm.
want like 2 of these, and that's a venue thing that you would frequent in, you know, a year, then
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Whenever
Yeah.
we can again.
Yeah.
Should we just buy one of these and do like a Pokemon unboxing and just like sell them on stream? Be like,
Yeah.
all right, we got
I don't know
an
about that part.
astrologian here. Who wants to
I was with you
$5
until you
plus
said sell it
shipping
on
and
stream.
handling? Yeah. So the other things that they have are these minion miniatures, which I would say are even worse. Actually, just in case the $90 non-guaranteed full set of keychains wasn't bad enough already. So these sets, there's 2 sets. There's like how are they? Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Mhm.
And again, you buy the display box. That's like in the product display box. So there's 8 in a set,
Mhm.
but the display box is 12. So you are regardless of if it's again not guaranteed that you get the full set. So regardless, even if you get a full set, you're getting 4 that you don't need. You're paying for those.
Yeah.
Like,
no matter what.
But hopefully you have friends.
Yeah.
that you can't see yet. You know, like, I don't know. It's
You
just
can put it in a mailbox.
Yeah, it's true. It's
Yeah.
just it's just that weird. I don't know why they packaged it this way. I think they're just selling the stuff that would go to a vendor, because a vendor wouldn't care if they got 4 extra. 'Cause they're gonna sell all 4 of
my
them.
assumption is they have a
Yep.
bunch of these and they're like, let's sell it to the West and we'll just charge for the whole box and we don't care.
I mean, some of it might also be something to do with pandemic stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
could be.
either not being
Yeah.
able to repackage it might just be that they don't physically, like, you know, the
Mhm.
facilities and things, getting like the people together that would actually physically take and repackage all of that might be difficult. And it could also be that maybe some of these were just like excess things that didn't get used because so
Yeah.
many conventions and other events.
Well, I mean,
and
you know,
tournaments
this is the
Yeah.
kind of stuff that they would sell at like the Final Fantasy cafes, the Square Enix cafe. And I know they've been open at some points, but they also have been closed, right, during the past year at some point as well. So yeah, it's one of those. I think it's one of those things. Obviously, blind box stuff it's getting more popular kind of everywhere, but I don't think it's caught on quite as much over here in the US. And it's just
I want to know what I'm buying.
Yeah, especially, I mean, considering this is the Square Enix store, right? You're probably going to end up realistically spending like $120 to get this $90 thing of keychains after shipping, because their shipping is absurd.
Yeah.
And that's
Sure
not
is.
worth it for little rubber key. No.
I just advise everybody to like look later for the single ones to appear
Yeah,
places,
exactly.
or like, you know, order, or again, I mean, Zed, I thought you had a
Yeah.
good suggestion. If you like really want these, maybe get a couple friends together that also really want them, and then agree to swap whichever ones you get. That
Go
might
in
be-
and yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not a good system for just a collector or a fan. It's just like, yeah, I just want like I want a samurai keychain. Okay, so I have to buy a box. Okay, it's $90. There's 18 of them, but I don't know if I'll get the one that I want. Like, that's no,
Enjoy.
don't do that, Square. Anyway, that's my merch rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
It was a very good
Um,
talk about merch.
It
I feel
was though.
about
I
it.
like merch, and so it hurts me when they're dumb about it.
Things I didn't know about Fusion.
Yeah, right. I know you guys can't see it on stream, but I got my Alice and my Alphino figures this past week. I got
You can see it on stream. Oh my gosh.
No, my
what
Windows.
a huge
my,
failure. You gotta
my
move
Windows-
those soplace.
Okay, all right. Hold on. I'm gonna move it.
Oh my
Fine. I'll
goodness.
You don't have
I'll
to
move
move the
the-
camera. I'm saying move the figures later.
move the figures later. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I got my plush shark minion coming in the mail this coming week. Like, I'm just next episode, I'm just gonna have him here. I'm just gonna be chilling. It's gonna be great. I paid way more money for that than I should have.
It's okay. The joy it brings you is worth it, and that's what
Oh yeah,
matters.
no, absolutely. It's gonna be great. I can just burst into song, talking about my beautiful baby shark.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
it's good.
Is that what you're gonna do? Is it gonna be next episode, musical episode?
Food.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You stepped right in it. I was just watching it.
Boy, what
Leo's
a-
like watching what's happening.
What a crazy set of episodes. We'll go from helium voice to just full on singing. It'll be great.
I'm here for this.
I am so here for this. I feel like really expanding and getting to see your full range, you know, your artistic range
Right,
as a performer
right.
fusion is just.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be a gift to all of us.
Mhm.
Gift, curse. You know, it's a matter of opinion, but all right.
I did want to really quickly address a very important question from a while ago in
Oh,
chat,
sure.
which was
Yeah.
from Allura. And the question was, will Endwalker put in butt slider customization?
No. Absolutely not.
Don't just shut our hopes and dreams
Yeah.
down.
I
My
mean,
God,
there's no
no.
gravity on the
buddy.
moon. Like, I don't.
It would be cool if they did do more character customization things at all, because we're not gonna get new, races probably. Not.
Look, okay, Rook,
Yeah.
you have a choice to make.
Sure.
Oh no, here.
You specifically.
Oh God.
You can either get a big fat booty,
I do like the booty.
or you can wear hats. Which one?
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Oh God. Oh no. I mean, okay, on one hand, as Nier has taught us,
I like how serious you're trying to keep your face, but it's just like around the edges showing.
But don't call me out. On the one hand, Nier as a franchise has taught us that the booty dough. And on the other hand, I would love to wear headpieces because I feel like they make me look cool. They bring an ensemble together. They complete my glamour. But booty though, you know, I think I'm gonna have to go with hats. Oh God, dang it! I'm gonna have to go with hats.
Painful.
We do already have the leotard bottoms, and I can at least wear those, you know. And I'll have that double C thick booty, but. I would like to see a wider range of body customization in the game because bodies are diverse, unique, and wonderful. So it's really hard for me, but I think hats are number one, unless they do a robust body overhaul system.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because hats are just something that everyone else has, right? And it's like you just got to get back to equity on that, right? Like it's just, I get why that's number one.
The thing, right? I mean,
Did we say we were going to talk about hats?
Right, I'm gonna try real careful to keep this short, but it's that idea. Like we got the, you know, with 1.0, we didn't have female Rokugan.
Yeah.
We didn't have male Mikote. And then they're like, we're going to fix that because that's dumb. And we're going to make sure that there's the 2 genders for each race and it's going to be great. And then they come out and they're just like, yeah, we're not going to do that, but also introduce 2 new races. Also, if that wasn't stupid enough, they can't wear hats. What?
Yeah. There's some real problems with this. We've talked about it so much, and like I still feel just as strongly about it. So I won't go too much into it, but it is just one
if
of
you'd
those
like to
things
hear more about this, go listen to any of the last
Any-
episodes since Shadowbringers. I'm sure it comes up.
It is weird and it's ridiculous. So I mean, yeah, when we talked earlier about the question from Sweet with the whole like, what do you want to see that they haven't talked about? I mean, yes, obviously, I want to have this addressed somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we're gonna get booty sliders. I would love it if they did at some point put in some kind of diversity of bodies, even if at one point we get some kind of CC kind of overhaul, right? And they even just add a couple other preset bodies you could pick. Like, just something would be nice. But is that their top priority? I don't think so, unfortunately.
Yeah. Where do we go after that? I don't know. Rick, I'm so sorry for making you have to choose between that. I could tell that really was that was a hard decision to come to for you.
Yeah, it was the trolley problem of Final Fantasy XIV.
You're tearing me apart, Fusion. I didn't scream it loudly, but know that I was in my heart. I was doing a dramatic reenactment. Yeah, no, it was awful. And I don't think I'll recover from this ever. So.
Just be laying there in bed tonight, being like, maybe I should have picked the booty.
I think you chose the right thing. Like, that one's more likely than booty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Don't want to get your hopes too far up, wishing for the booty.
I mean, exactly. And then I'd be so crushed if I didn't get the booty. Though.
Not by a booty.
Yeah, not by a booty. I wouldn't be crushed by any booties. I'd have nothing except for Step on Me energy, which, you know, is also good because Merlveeb exists in this world, and so does, you know, Y'shtola, and I mean, that's fine, but one day. Maybe.
One day.
Yeah, this has been a really trying question.
You keep going back to it.
I literally don't know how to continue from here. We do podcasts every week, and now all I can think about is butt slider customization.
We were all having this MFK, like, we're like, I don't know, is that really like my final answer? And all of a sudden it's like, butts, hats.
It's been really difficult.
Welcome to Aetheryte Radio. We are a professional podcast.
Pro.
I did see that Alex tossed another question out. We're getting back. We're getting back to some of the questions that went out. With Bozja tying into Ivalice and the mystery of the princess that Fran is serving, will we see Ash make an appearance in the final bit of Save the Queen? I was under the impression that in this timeline, am I wrong?
That's an old story. That's history, not
wasn't
present day.
Wasn't she killed? I thought Ash was...
yeah.
I thought that in this timeline, Ash was canonically killed in the sewers as opposed to saved in the sewers.
I don't remember the details, but I remember that there were some pretty pictures and that whatever she did exist, but she is no longer with us. So it's history. She was a character that existed, but that's in the past.
So they do let princesses die in this game.
It seems like it. I mean, I would love to see that. I would love to see the resistance movement that, Fran is a part of, like, see her come back as a character in the next portion of Boja. I don't really know if they're going to do that because it does seem like they focused much more on this, group, this ensemble that they've been building up with.
Yeah.
The blades and things, but...
Yeah, I would prefer them to not bring in any more 12 characters, just because, like, you're going so hard on the fan service already. Like, let's... try.
Yeah.
You're already writing that line between like, holy shit, mega fan service and like original 14 story. Like, let's try and get it back to that 14 original stuff a little bit more.
I get that.
Dial it back a little bit.
We were all right about Ash. Yeah, she died early, but Fran says she's serving a princess because no one knows if she isn't dead, but she was confirmed. So it's like a weird mystery. So they got to do something about that, but I don't know.
Somebody may or may not be a princess and may not be dead.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm fine with. It's funny because while a lot of this 12 stuff has been technically, I guess, Fusion, like you were saying, kind of fan service, I haven't really felt like it's been as blaring to me as other stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I
Nier.
feel because,
I mean,
Nier stuff has been kind of awkwardly put into this, right? But it does feel like, because, I mean, one, they went ahead.
You were just happy about the booty pants.
I mean, okay, I'm sorry. The booty pants are a gift, and they belong in this game.
You like parts of things.
But is this story as seamlessly integrated into the feel, texture, character, lore, and world of Final Fantasy XIV? No.
Rook, I have a question for you. Again, I apologize.
Oh, why are you putting me on the spot like this? Okay,
you have two choices. You could replace the Nier raid with literally anything else that had a wonderful story and just weaved so perfectly into the narrative. Or you could have your booty pants.
Oh my god. Booty pants, by the way.
It will have to be the booty pants this time.
I mean, come on, yeah.
It's gonna have to.
They're fine the way it is.
They're an integral part of my character design. And I've got a lot of commissioned art of her in the booty pants. So from a role-playing standpoint, the booty is integral to my character foundations and lore. And many of the memes in my RP group. So yeah. I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna
have to go with the booty pants to keep the memes intact. Yeah.
On this one. Okay. But yeah, the whole Evilise thing I think feels more organic because it is like a canonical part of the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With introducing like some of these races and things, it has been worked in. And even going back to stuff like the reference to the Zodiac Braves with the books that you have in ARR, and then you get to actually see more about them. It feels like whether or not you know anything about where some of that inspiration or stuff came from, it still is a part of Eorzea and 14 in a way that like works for me, right? So I don't mind, and I will never say no to more 12 characters because I
like the way that they handled it, right? It's that idea of these cities just happen to exist and whatever, but I don't want to see them go harder on the fan service. I think it's fine the way it is right now. Like, I don't want them to, like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, we're going to add Vaughn and Pinello, and it's going to be great. And it's like, no, it's fine. Keep going with Gabranth. Keep going with, Fran a little bit if you want. But, yeah, I don't think they should really throw in anything else. When will the game allow Rogadins to dual-wield Lalafels? Ooh, that's a good one.
Another good one.
We're already allowed to like kick them, so it's probably in the near future, I think.
Only if it's done respectfully and with consent.
Consent is key. Come on.
I'm over the Lalafell hatred.
You know
now,
what?
Are there some stinky popotos who deserve it? Yeah,
absolutely.
There's a few. Most of the ones that have mustaches.
Wow. In 1.0, there were 2 Lalafell who wielded a Rogadin. Remember they kicked that guy out of the Miners Guild?
Was this like a Ratatouille situation?
Oh yeah.
They threw him. Yeah.
They threw him, yeah.
No, they like picked him up together and like
they're like the main characters of the mining company.
Yeah, the
in
mining
Ulda.
So just flip-flop that and it's already happened.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. I could see that. I mean, I would love to get at some point more. This is a welcome to the Ramblecast. Here's a ramble.
Mhm.
I would love to get some more stuff with the actual races. Like
Yes.
getting to really dig more into each of the different races and like their lore and history and context in the world and significant things for them would be so cool at some point. I don't know if we'll ever do that if after this we move on to the void and we're hopping shards to try and help everybody in future X packs, assuming that some of our theories are correct.
Right.
But it would be cool, and even just seeing some new, like, I don't know, neat relic, but like racial relic gear, or having something like that, like new unique sets for them, or even new Grand Company sets. Something like that would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because it has been a while since we sort of
Oh,
touched on that. And
Grand
there's a lot of cool
Company.
stuff there.
People
I
complain
remember
a lot
Grand
about
Companies.
people complain a lot about the individual like pajama / underwear sets though that only each race can wear.
Oh
So-
man, what was that? RSC?
So I'm not sure that they would
RSC.
implement anything that's racial gear again.
Yeah. It's difficult because people are like, well, I want that too. So it's hard to do that. But
Why can't I wear Lalafell underpants?
I mean, they could.
Da booty, slider or no.
Yeah. I mean, you could wear it on one leg.
These are really tight. Why did I think this would be a good
Uh-huh.
idea?
It's like a sock, but a really poorly
You just
constructed
start
sock.
walking around like this.
Yeah.
It's a mermaid sock. Your feet go in just a little bit, and then just kind of hold your legs together.
I can just imagine now, like a Rogadin wearing Lalafell underwear, walking up to like Emmett Selk and like the final bits of like, Shadowbringers.
How?
Right. Well, yeah, they'd be like, and Emmett Selk starts his speech, and we're just there, kind of like, he's like, "Are you okay?"
Pretty sure they'd just be like hanging off.
Emmett Selk's like, "Do you need a minute? Like,
Yeah.
I want to, I'm trying to give my grand like evil guy speech here. Like, are you
Really-
okay?"
Really bringing down the mood. And I don't understand why you did this.
It's like the final days. We're at the end of Amarat. We can see the world below us, and we're just like, "Oh my god, these things are just riding up." Like,
oh my god, why'd you do this?
Ramblecast.
Ramblecast.
That's
Things
fair.
will never be able to get out of my mind. Like images
Yep.
that are burned into my mind now.
Yep.
A Rugadin trying to wear actual tiny Lalafell underpants.
Mhm.
So this is a great thing that's come from Ramblecast.
Mhm.
Feel really good about it. Feel really, like I'm just, I'm happy about this outcome.
But yeah, I agree with you. I do wish we got some more like actual setting lore, some more. I want some more of that. I was reminded last night, I think, that there are actually different breeds of chocobo, and you get a different one based on your race. And I was like, that is a thing that my brain recalls from 10 years ago. That it was gone.
Definitely
That
don't
was
remember
not in
that
there.
from 14. I remember that when 11 introduced chocobo raising.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That too.
what if like in Endwalker, it's just revealed that we all came from the moon.
Well, I mean,
why
it
not?
could-
Dragons come from stars.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. Sure.
It's like backwards. It's like when you see these movies when they're like, "Oh, Earth is dying. We have to leave. Let's go somewhere else to terraform." And it's like, "Oh, the moon is dying. We have to leave. Let's go to that planet over there." That's why we're on Hydaelyn and Eorzea land.
Oh, now I do see JSOT has said in chat, part of me has been wanting a growing relic armor set that slowly fills more slots per patch and grows with the weapon on 6.1. It's just the weapon and glove 6.2 chat piece, so on and so on and so forth. It's interesting because they did kind of do a relic. I mean, we've had relic armor sets that sort of evolved through Eureka. We have some stuff that's even kind of going now in Boja's stuff, but like again, we have the optional content and things that you're running to unlock dyeable versions and various things there. After witnessing World of Warcraft do a sort of long-term weapon shenanigan where you had like the guild halls. It was good and bad, and it's so tough because on one hand it was cool. We talked about this even a little bit with like how could we provide some more feeling or customization or flair with jobs, since job quests aren't necessarily a thing, right? The idea of like an order guild hall is something that they did in World of Warcraft with this kind of relic weapon thing, where you got this guild hall, you know, through your efforts of upgrading this legendary weapon and all the content and stuff that you were running, it then like rebuilt the hall and you got to learn more about the class and all this stuff, which was really cool. But on the other hand, it also ended up being an infuriating system,
Right.
especially one for like new players coming in. And there were various steps that were like best in slot and like the end all be all for your weapon. And like, it just ended up being really kind of difficult and limiting. So it's interesting because on one hand, I do think it would be really fun to have some kind of like longer journey with a relic set or with some kind of upgradable optional gear that we could have that might have various customization options. But I think, you know, it either has to be like purely cosmetic or I'm not sure how they would tie it in.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean, when I think of like relic armor, again, I apologize. I have an 11 background. I played a lot of 11.
Yeah.
You know, you'd get relic armor that would like augment jump or augment your dances or, you know, really crazy bonus stuff. 14 is not developed to have that and to be able to work with that well. But what we do have, right? I mean, specifically talking about Boja, we do have that set of resistance gear that you can buy with the coins. If you do Savage Delibram, take that back. If you just do normal Delibram, there's that kind of judge armor, the lawful whatever the hell it's called. And then if you do Savage, you can upgrade that further. So it's not that, I mean, you can also upgrade like the Boja stuff. So there's, you know, 2 sets of armor you can upgrade each. And so it's not like there's not kind of an upgradable armor thing that you can kind of work on ish while doing the relic. But I think the big difference here, and that's probably what they're referring to more so, is that it doesn't have that job aesthetic tied to it. And I would argue that's because they already need to come up with, you know, every expansion. Okay, how else can we design a warrior? How else can we design a dragoon? Oh, you want us to do that how many times for one expansion?
Right.
That's hard. That's
it's
rough.
part of the reason why WoW got rid of tier sets. You know, like this is what you're kind of asking for, the tier set of old that you'd get in the raid. It would do cool stuff. It looks specifically to the raid and your job. Yeah, they stopped doing it because it kind of sucks.
That's a lot of extra work. I mean, as nice as it would be, and yeah, I insert comment about being angry about Memoria EX diable AF here.
Sure. Yeah.
While we're at it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And I mean, they don't even have to, like with stuff like racial gear, I mean, right, they don't even have to necessarily make it locked to one race or something. I mean, it could just be something that is an aesthetic that is based around, you know, like this particular idea or stuff. And I mean, we are getting some more lore with, you know, going to like Nier and stuff. So that's just always, maybe because I do like roleplay, that's just always something that I do really enjoy, kind of getting more information about how these cultures and histories and societies have kind of functioned. And especially when you kind of take it for granted because, you know, you just sort of start the game and you're tossed into stuff here on the sort of original maps and with the original things. But, you know, when we're sort of journeying to like the first or something, you know, everything is new and novel. So it feels really different. So I'm curious to see what they do with this next expansion and, you know, in the future, even if they decide to keep kind of retroactively supporting different zones, like how they have even with Ishgardian Restoration and adding more about like the progress and people. I just think it'd be cool to see that still tied in.
I will forever be upset that Boja has field notes, but the first doesn't. How cool would that have been? Every time you interacted with something new, you would have taken notes for someone. You know what I mean? That would be cool. Like, I would love if we
Cabinet
ever
of
did go
Curiosities
to the Void.
guy.
Yeah, if we ever did go to the Void, I would want us to categorize, you know, and have field notes for everything. Have a bestiary, you know, that'd be cool. But,
All
Have we rambled?
I think we
Out of breath?
Have we successfully rambled?
Yeah, we did it.
Did we do the thing?
I mean, I feel like we could keep going on, but
Yeah,
maybe we should
if there's
save
any big last questions here in chat. As I mute my mic and sneeze.
Dragon Quest raid.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course.
That'd be fun. Sure,
I would love that. You know, tied in with 11, maybe.
I'm sorry, this is the United States of America. We don't recognize Dragon Quest as a game.
How
here.
dare you? I'm leaving right now.
Oh my very gods.
I'm kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding. Dragon Quest Builders 2 was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
crossover with
I'm being
Halo
serious
Red.
too, just in case. I actually legit enjoy building.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Crossover
I
with
just wanted
Halo
to.
Red. Never. I really doubt it. I deeply, extremely do not. I do
Well,
not believe
like-
that will probably ever happen. Would it be funny? Yes.
So
would be
so
hilarious.
so we can get a crossover from Halo, but to do that we need to figure out which character from 14 we would want in Fortnite.
Oh,
No.
don't do that.
No. I'm
Now
good.
I'm leaving.
Thank you though.
It's just it's
Oh.
the everything crossover. We can hang out with Kratos from God of War. We can hang out with John Wick is in Fortnite. Lara Croft
Yeah,
is
true.
in Fortnite. Raven from DC Comics is in Fortnite.
John Halo, yeah, he's there.
Great.
Yeah.
John Halo.
Yeah, that's what I call.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because we've brought it up, and I even saw people in chat talking about this. Right, the idea that people are excited that we have an original 24-man raid story and
Yes.
8-man raid story coming
Oh,
up
I'm
with
so happy.
Endwalker, and I am so glad because don't get me wrong, I do actually think that crossovers done well are really fun. I think even like the Monster Hunter World crossover was hugely
Yeah.
successful. I love that
Mhm.
fight. I think it brings some really fresh and interesting new ideas to like fights and untelegraphed, primals. I thought that was so neat. But I'm kind of ready, just to
And then
sink
Nier
into that
happened.
14 lore. Like, I'm ready just to have an epic conclusion that feels epic on all fronts with all of the different content that you are engaging with and that ties into the
Yeah.
story. I'm ready for that. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think
glad
for
that it's
me,
original.
But
Nier
give me the four
is-
fiends for the trial, please.
Yeah, like
Just gonna
Nier
speak
was
that
just
into existence.
Nier was very shoehorned, and I think with Eden, I think the expectation that a lot of people had was like, this is the FF8 collaboration raid, and
Yeah.
it definitely was not. And so I think by just saying these are going to be
There's a
original,
lot of 8 in there.
you could
Yeah.
right, but it's not like screaming in your face.
Yeah.
8.
It's a
You
sprinkle.
know what I mean?
There's a
Yeah.
sprinkle of hate.
Yeah, and so I think even if they want to include like nods to like what was it, like Castle Pandemonium or whatever it
Yeah.
was with like, they can still do that, but like don't come out and be like Pandemonium or like Castle Pandemonium. Don't call it that, right? Like, don't give such this huge like nod and wink that like, hey, this is totally based on this. Don't do that. Call it original and then have those nods, and it'll be fine, and I think it'll be received well. But if you do it the other way, like they kind of did with Eden, then it's not going to be what people wanted it to be. So.
We'll see. I have high hopes. I think our next raids are going to be a lot of fun. And
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
excited.
even,
Yeah.
again, like even with Nier, I think being a fresh one that felt a little awkward at the same time, it's still like I appreciate collaboration in general, right? I appreciate it as a general thought and idea that sometimes we do have to think outside of our own stuff and what we're doing, and that collaboration can bring fresh ideas and a new perspective. And I love seeing that, especially in a game franchise or, in an interconnected game community, right? Where all of these creators have such a legacy and history and, have been a part of so many different facets of it. I think it's really cool to see that brought in. But I also think that 14's own original staff and story is phenomenal. And seeing that really get to shine is going to be like, I'm ready.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. That was like my big thing. I'm like, just give us original raids. And they did, and I can't wait. I'm so happy about
So
that.
you said I can't wait to see in the next raids. What the next raids are going to be. I think they're going to be great. And in my head, I just thought at least they won't be these ones. It's so bad, so bad. I'm so
I
sorry.
mean, it's not wrong though. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
That's not a thought you want to have about the game that is your quote unquote main game, though, right?
Yeah. Be an Avengers fan, and then let me know how you feel about talking about the game.
Oh no.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be like Anthem.
That's a whole other podcast that we will not
I
be
feel
doing.
so bad for the Anthem team. Oh, I
Yeah.
feel so terrible. Yeah, I mean, all things aside, I think the Nier raids have been a little forgettable. I've enjoyed the actual fights in this last tier of
The
the
music is great. The mechanics are fun, but it just it
the
feels
story
like,
just didn't quite come together. So,
yeah.
it had good points.
It's like an alien space station just literally just crashed on the planet, and we're dealing with it.
Yeah. Allura says, any opinions on fixes for jobs, like allowing you to pick rogue at the start of game? Do you mean like retroactively going in so that you could pick like Dark Knight from the beginning, or?
I
The,
mean,
I-
Rogue is one of those weird
let's broaden this out, right? This is an idea that's
I think
been
they mean like you
brought
can't
up
pick up Rogue until you're 30.
yeah, which
yeah.
sucks.
I'm. It'd be nice to see. I would take that one step further and just get rid of classes. Because either way, you're looking at a pretty decent systematic overhaul, I think.
Oh, it's Rogue
and if
10.
you're gonna
My bad.
Rose, it's
Oh,
only
yeah,
10.
it
I
is.
thought it was higher. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, right? Like it'd be so nice if they did it. It would smooth out a lot of stuff, but it's also a lot of work.
It is huge.
And is
I mean,
the
that's-
payoff there for it? I mean, maybe not. They are still getting new players, right? Like
Mhm.
that's the thing. They're not like they're still in that point of the game where they're still bringing in new players. They're not working on retention, right? Maybe, but it would surprise me.
Yeah.
I
That's-
mean, from a
that's big one.
coherency standpoint from new player experience, right? It would make sense to me
Mhm.
because it is
Yeah.
a little weird right now to be like,
Mhm.
okay, so here are the things you start out as: thaumaturge, thermstat,
Mhm.
and then you're like, but I want to be a black mage, and like we already saw them rework some of that when they removed like the multi-classing things,
Yep.
right?
Well,
And
thermostat still is the black mage. You're either too hot or you're too cold.
Yeah.
Like it
Yes,
really.
exactly.
That actually works out really well.
far better for this than
Yeah.
I thought it would. But like there is that, right? And then there's also
Mhm.
like to new players, they say, oh, I saw Dark Knight and it looks so cool because it was featured, and you're like, okay, well, Dark Knight you can pick up at 50, and they're like, oh, but what about Gunbreaker? And you're like, you can get that one at 30, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be like a ninja, and you're like, Rogue, but that's at 10. So it is
Yeah.
kind of confusing, I think, for
Yeah.
new players to have that kind of confront them when they're first sort of figuring things out. I don't think it's impossible, but
Mhm.
is it one of those things where I could at some point in the future feasibly see them streamlining that down so everything is more in
Yeah.
a uniform? Yes. Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think
that
if
they can. It
Yeah,
would.
yeah,
they
I don't
can.
think that they can.
Well, no, I just mean removing classes. That's what I was talking about. Not
Sure.
just streamlining,
Yeah,
just
just the
removing
way
classes.
that things have been developed over the years. Yeah, it's a lot. We
well,
don't
what
even
do you
have
do with-
hats. We don't.
what do you-
You can't even get freaking hats, and you want them to remove classes?
If you remove classes, how would Scholar and Summoner even exist? That's why you can't get rid of them anytime soon.
You
have to
finally
fix
make
that
the damn
first.
split
Right. you
after
have to
10
fix that
years. You
first.
finally
So I don't.
I
see it.
think if I was able to pick kind of like this big like whoa
Yeah.
like dream kind of overhaul, let me use all my abilities in like a level 1 dungeon. I'm sick of
Oh,
having to
sure.
remember my rotations in like low level
Sure.
content because I have 3 abilities.
I actually like it sometimes. Like
Oh, it drives me
I
nuts.
just want
I
to brain
hate
dead
it.
my way through this roulette that I don't care that much about. Just there for the XP. Oh, I have 2 buttons. Heck yeah!
Okay.
Yeah. To me, it's the opposite because I'm like I literally hate being anything other than
I
max
think-
level as a summoner. Like
Right, and same for me, right? If I'm a machinist and I don't get to summon a big ass robot to come in and like just punch my enemies in the face, like turret, no, get out of here, turret.
I
You're
get
like,
it. I get it.
Yeah.
There's
last
definitely those days
expansion
where I'm
turret,
just like,
nobody
what do
cares
you
about
mean
you
I
anymore.
don't have an AoE yet on Conjurer, White Mage
Yeah.
2 or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
But at the same time, the way that they put it all together, if they gave you all of your abilities, even scaled down, we
Mhm.
would face roll those dungeons even more than we
Mhm.
already do.
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Zen, on this. Even from the facet of, I think that 14 does a great job of kind of teaching you incrementally the
Mhm.
foundations of your class, of the content, of, giving you the language that you need and like building that sort of
Yeah.
vocabulary as to how things function in the game. So, like, as a veteran player and as somebody who knows what's going on, yeah, it's frustrating to not have half the things that you want to have, like when you're doing stuff. And like, I totally acknowledge people, that have that opinion, because there are times I get into a dungeon and I'm like, oh my god, I've been hitting, holy for 30 seconds and it's not even going off, and I wasn't even really paying attention, but the ability is not unlocked yet. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so there is that weird dissonance that can be kind of frustrating. But I do also think that there are times where, especially when I'm learning a class or I'm like new to something, that having those more limited skill sets at certain breaks actually does do a good job, I think, of teaching people something fundamental about using that
That's why I would say keep that way. But if you're,
Max level.
once you've unlocked it, you should be able to go back and continue to use it. Because, I mean, think about it, right? As you're learning a job, right? you get a new ability and you're like, oh, okay, cool, and then you figure that out, and then like you go back into an older dungeon and you're like, oh wait, hold on, now I can't use that.
I hate going into lower level dungeons on Dancer and not having a dance partner, and then getting into raid and forgetting my dance partner because all day I didn't have a dance partner.
When I was leveling Dancer, because you don't have that at 50. And so anytime I would like do like the alliance roulette or whatever, I'd be like, please be Mach, please be Mach, please be. Welcome to the world of darkness, son of a. Like it's just
every single level as a caster, I think you have a different rotation. Every single level group, of course. But like there are sometimes on Black Mage you're like, well, what do I even do for AoE right now? Well, I guess I just do the old stuff, right? Like it's like what do I do? One. Yeah, I mean that's annoying, but yeah, you know, of course you have to learn it, so you have to gain it
again, right? Dream scenario. If they could. This would be great, but I'm
not getting into my dream scenario. Happen. We don't have another
Probably
hour.
never happen. Yeah.
I also saw Laura bring up Grand Company Squadrons, and that's another thing that I'm like, yeah, we could talk about redesigning that whole aspect.
I remember Grand Company Squadrons.
I pushed it out of my head.
All of mine are Glamoured as Namazu. They have the Namazu mask and the frog body dyed gray.
I haven't talked to them in like 3 years.
They could be definitely. For all I know, but I loved the concept of squadrons. I love the idea of like actually having some sort of responsibility in your grand company or like as a figure in this world. I like the concept, but it really does feel like a system that, especially with like trusts coming in, right? It's kind of like, again, we have these weird things that are like components of the same idea but weren't unified. So it's like, I wonder if at some point retroactively, if for like the base game, rather than doing like trusts can now go through all of the old stuff, if they'll be like, you can just bring your rando squad mates with you and everything, and they function as your trust, and we'll rework it so they have a trust.
That wouldn't surprise me if they made that a thing, because I mean, just with with how Shadowbringers Dungeons have worked, you could do all of that content without matching up with anybody, minus the trials.
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to be able to go back and do that with older dungeons. Obviously, we know that they have to program AI per dungeon, and that would be a pretty hefty task.
Yeah.
But from like a new player perspective, especially because it's weird to a point, right? It's 5.0, and now you can run Trust solo. It almost feels like it should have been the other way, right? Start that with like the 2.0 stuff, but yeah, it would be nice, I think, to go back and do that. But again, it's really a big question of how many new players are they getting. Obviously, we talked about they're not in retainment; they're in trying to pull in new subscribers still. So, what do the numbers look like? How long do they think that they'll keep getting more players? Is it worth that resource investment to do that? Who knows? Not me.
Yoshi P.
Yeah.
He knows everything. All right.
Yep.
We're kind of slowing down here a little bit. I think we have exhausted all of our random ass topics.
I mean, I don't think we will ever exhaust them, but is this a point where we could all be like, yeah, let's go get a cup of tea.
As of today,
Feeling like a nap.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch Netflix with Yashola.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you do you. I'm very happy for you both. God, I wish that when I left this room, Grahatia would be standing outside the door like, Rook, great podcast. Here's half a Sammy that I made for you. Like, that would be the light.
That would be good. And it's funny you say that. Now I'm thinking about great. We'll watch Netflix on the couch together, and then I'm gonna have to get one of those pet hair rollers and just all over the sofa.
Fusion, I'm sorry, it's worth it. I'm sorry, it's worth it. You have a beautiful partner who has a fluffy soft tail and adorable cat
didn't
ears.
say it wasn't worth it. I was just trying to make a joke. Damn.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to make any jokes here, not on this podcast.
Apparently not.
Here anymore.
I'll just stand here in my machinist clown costume doing birthday parties, using my turret as a helium turret to just blah balloons for all the keys.
Honestly, I know the connotation of Netflix with Stola. However, she can't watch Netflix. Like, do you
She can't.
My God. Oh my God.
our TVs aren't Aetheryte, you know? Like, she can't see it. I get the connotation, but it's even worse.
That was almost on par with Pook dropping that line about
Oh
half.
no.
That was a
Wow.
sudden and
It's just-
devastating realization.
I feel bad for her. I'm not even saying that as a mean way. It's just like, come on.
No, I mean, I mean, to be fair, there are some,
Yeah.
there are, red, what is it? Audio descriptions or descriptors.
Yeah.
that,
Mm-hmm.
There
There's
are
some
ways.
accessibility, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just
I mean, I
Well-
think part of this that this has made me reflect on is the fact that the consequences. This is something I'd like to see in Shadowbreakers.
sure.
Here's my
Yeah.
or in Endwalker. Here's the thing I want to see from Endwalker. Going all the way back to that question.
Mm-hmm.
What is ever the deal with the actual repercussions of Ishola being blind? Because up until she doesn't even, there's nothing, right? It's
Yeah.
like they did this for her character, but then also never actually really dealt with any of the, I don't know, like
Mm-hmm.
actual things that a person might face. Like, were they to, have to navigate blindness? Like, of course, it's a whole nother level of things, right? And of course, magic exists in Aetheryte. And so the punishment here is that she's supposed to be dying every time she uses it. Girl done been using it always, every second of every day.
Yeah.
So can we please face the repercussions of this?
Like, I legit, like, I would not be surprised if at some point Matoya's like, you want to just, like, fusion dance? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm old, I've had it with this crap, you're dying, but, like,
Tired of
you're a
this
poster
cramped old
child in
castle.
Dissidia, so we should probably keep
Oh,
you
wow.
around.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I was almost gonna put Justola on, the save list because there's gotta be the shoe's gotta drop. I don't think they're gonna kill her. She's kind of she's one of the big mascots, but
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the thing. She's the Dissidia character. You can't just
Mhm.
kill the Dissidia character.
You
Right.
say that, but so is Xenos.
yeah. That's true.
Jesus, I forgot.
Please
about
don't make me
We
feel
should
like
have seen it
Xenos is gonna
coming.
be alive forever.
Although I guess
Yeah.
we kill the other villains in Dissidia. in other
Xenos-
games.
True.
Xenos doesn't count. He was DLC.
Okay.
We
He
kill
was
the
not-
other. I'm just gonna
he
go
wasn't
with
base
my
game.
previous.
Yeah.
That's my argument. That's
It
true. She
doesn't
did
count
die.
If you're a villain. Doesn't
Yeah,
count if
she
you're a
did.
villain.
She has
You
kind
have
of
to kill
died,
villain.
and then she got brought back.
Oh, you know who else has died? Who's in that game?
Hmm.
Tidus.
That's true.
Oh, my
Yeah.
poor boy. My poor awkward laugh boy.
Mhm.
Okay, so anyway,
Yeah, so
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Ramblecast, ladies and gentlemen. We did it. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what this was supposed to be, but we did it.
I think we did
Um,
exactly what it was supposed to be. And I
think so.
think that the true landmark of this having been a successful Ramblecast is the fact that we did halfway through it play the Marry Fuck Kill game,
Yeah.
which is really truly one of the greatest time waster group discussion icebreakers of all time. So I feel
Yeah.
really good about everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
My Stream Deck has crashed.
Oh, that's fine.
Yes. Awesome. All right, we're gonna have to do this old school here. Where's which one do I use for what? I forget. This
Push
is
all
the
the buttons.
one. This one. If you
Mhm.
want, you can email us, aetheryteradio@gamerescape.com. You can tweet at us at aetheryteradio. You can follow us on Discord, discord.gg/gamerescape. We have an Aetheryte Radio channel on there if you want to talk to us about the show. We also changed our totally off-topic WandaVision spoilers to Falcon and Winter Soldier spoilers, if you want to talk about that, if you're into that kind of thing. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook at GamerEscape. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to whatever the heck this was. And
you keep saying that as if it wasn't great. It was great.
No, it was.
was
I just
great.
still. It was everywhere, and it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, right? Doing this for as long as we have been doing this, to just be like, I don't know what we're talking about. Let's go live and just see what
Anyway.
happens. Wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
I'm so glad that I could bring this chaotic energy. Everybody's like,
Yes.
what are we going to do for podcast? I was like, what if we just hear me
Yeah.
out?
What if we just do stuff and things and yeah.
Perfection.
Fusion, you did great. You really let go. I mean, I feel like this was a liberating experience for you, just to break free. You didn't even have to use all the tab. You know what I mean? Like
we
just
got
went
we got
wild.
Rook to swear. It's been a big step for everybody today.
I said the F word so many times today.
Several times.
I say on my own plenty, but I try very hard not to say profusely on streams.
I mean, Rook is so like anti-curse word. Like what was it a couple months ago? I had to like remind you that we were doing D&D or something instead of a normal show or whatever. And like on Discord, she's like, "Oh shit, I forgot." And then she edited that to remove the shit because that's how like I'm like looking at it. I'm like, did she just remove that?
Right.
Try to be very new person friendly, to be to not bring back any shame from corporate people onto our family here on this podcast. I don't want somebody coming in and be like, who is this filthy mouthed Sephiroth looking woman? Who is this? So I try very hard not to do that all the time. It surprises people then when I'm just on comms with them, like during raid, and it's one long obscenity. But I try. So today, this was me breaking free too. This was me finding.
I had the opposite thing happen because I do curse quite freely in person, and probably the most on the podcast? Question mark. But when I have people watch and they're like, "You were so reserved with when you said things like gosh and shucks."
Well, we try and be present the podcast in a professional way. Until this episode.
Yeah. This is the end. This is the end. Literally.
This is the last episode. Square Enix is like, they talked about what?
And then they said they would bone our characters, so we had to shut them down. Zen, you and I, we're getting ready for the musical episode.
Next week.
Getting ready.
Next week.
I think that this is a beginning, actually.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying.
It's the prelude.
Oh, no.
Wow. Is this the death before dawn?
Yeah, this is it.
So
professionalism.
We had topic-based shows. We're like, oh, these are hard to do every week. Let's do D&D.
Yeah.
And then all these like, I have real-life commitments.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, let's just talk about which NPC we want to bang. That is what the show is now. We have three types of shows: topics, D&D, bangable NPCs. This is what we've evolved into. Evolved? Devolved? I don't know.
This is just a foundation of the MMO community. If you haven't had these discussions, are you even a part of it?
It's partly my fault. I have led to this precipitous downfall. It's
How
my
could
fault.
you?
How could you do this to us?
Well, it's not all my fault. It's all
you were supposed to bring balance to the podcast.
I don't think I was. I think I was supposed to bring D&D, and I did not.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's fine.
You did eventually.
We did it.
You did.
We
It's
did
okay.
it. We outroed like 10 minutes ago and are still going. That's great. It's like, what is even going on anymore?
Next week we're gonna play D&D or talk about random stuff or sing.
Ramblecast 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great time.
Which honestly is probably decently likely.
What if next week we all showed up in closet cosplay?
Done.
Zen's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. I'm ready.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We will be back here next week again. D&D, maybe. Random BS. Maybe.
I think I could do D&D.
We'll see. Okay. We'll see what happens. We could do either one. I mean, or a combination of the both, which I guess that's what D&D usually is anyway.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next time.